one life form new from Coleco.
Tab for a beautiful drink. Tab for beautiful people. Tab, you're beautiful to me. Real cola tastes just 1 calorie. Tab, what a beautiful drink. Tab for beautiful people. Tab, it's beautiful to be so good and sugar-free. Tab.
Domino's Pizza delivers quality.
All right, check 1 2, check 1 2, check check check
Checkity,
1
check,
2.
check.
Hello?
Chinese chicken.
To avoid the noise.
Check, check, Chinese, the Chinese chicken.
Calvin, what's that say? Does that say fan 1 or what?
We keep the noise out.
Okay.
And all the quality.
Is this a Noid commercial?
Yes.
The noise.
It says fan low.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Domino's Pizza delivers.
From the leading manufacturer of video game hits comes the #1 video game
That's so
system,
fucking loud.
the Nintendo
What is-
Entertainment System.
Whatever you're hitting is like also hitting the table and causing every one of these springs to.
I'm like nowhere near the table with that.
Then somebody else is hitting the table.
I mean, I was moving my mic stand, so maybe it was me
Yeah, then
moving
it
the
was
arm.
you.
Sorry. I was trying to adjust where
We
the
blame
word was
you.
here.
Yeah, I blame you. You're late, so you get blamed.
Sorry. Of all the times I've been way early, I was late once.
Ah! Okay. Check, check.
Shit.
Ah!
At least you were able to make it clip this time.
So, what's the volume ratio on the music in Twitch?
The music's pretty loud on Twitch right now.
See, it's very low to us. Right? I mean, the music's
it's-
very low to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's overpowering on Twitch right now.
Can you still hear the voices?
No, barely.
Should I be turning anything down?
No, you should.
Here?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah, well, now we can't hear the
Now I
music.
can hear you over the music.
Yeah, now we can't hear the music.
Now you can't hear the music?
Yes.
I can hear it.
Give him, listen on his headphones. This, I haven't touched it since you took those off. And then explain to me how that works.
I barely hear it on this.
Yeah, explain to me how that works.
I don't know. I'm not an audio engineer, man. As you so eloquently pointed out last recording session, I'm just a phone guy.
Yeah, but those are headphones.
Yeah.
It does
Phones
have
is
the
in the
word
name.
it.
Come on, Russ.
Switch it over to the camera so they don't yell. Everybody always yells about that. I'm tired of getting yelled at over random ass shit.
Maybe it has something to do with the way you're inputting the music.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm inputting the music into this board. It's the tape in on this board. Then this board feeds out into this headphone amp. Then this headphone amp feeds into this board. Then this board goes USB DAW to the computer. I don't know either. It's completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
I'm enjoying the music right now.
We can't hear it.
I can't.
I can hear it.
I turned it up. Why you turned
So we can hear it. So we can enjoy it
it up?
too.
I can barely hear you.
I can hear everybody. I'm not having any problems.
Now, whatever you just did, put static in here. Now I'm hearing like static.
Nah. How about it?
Noise floor is still high.
I didn't touch anything but the headphone output.
Well, all I'm hearing is. Yeah, there's here. There's like it's like a static floor.
Why don't we just shut the music off?
Because we're trying to eliminate the noise floor that he's now
Is
hearing.
he hearing the air conditioner?
No.
No, this sounds like.
Exactly. How about it? How about it? How about it?
It's static now.
So they're static now, but can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, when did you start hearing me?
Well, you weren't constantly talking while you were turning the thing up.
I kept saying, how about it? That was the point at which I was wanting to know.
Well, I can hear you.
Okay. How about it? How about
I
it?
hear you.
How about it? Out. Noise floor? What's the noise?
There's light static. Would it be easier if I handed these to you and you heard it while you were adjusting things? I mean, seriously.
Why can't shit ever fucking work?
Not yet.
What the fuck?
Do you hear it though? I mean, I'm not.
Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check. That's check 1 2, check. Check 1 2, check. Check.
Martha Stewart, our entertainment and lifestyle
Check 1
consultant,
2, check.
recommends the
check.
lightweight Hoover Elite Upright Cleaner and the cordless Hoover Double Duty Wet and
Check.
Dry Hand Vac. Hoover, just another one of the great names that's at home
Check
with Martha
1 2.
Stewart.
Wear it as a glove and then punch Jason.
Plan for your shopping convenience.
Check. Checking it. Checking the mics. Check.
You can put all your coins in there.
Check.
Play a game or something. You go take a nap. I'll come
Check,
with you in
check.
a little bit.
Check the mics.
Yes.
Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Check.
Check.
Mike. Hello. My name is Mike. Check.
Where's the mouse?
Today's episode of Ignorance of the Law
Check mic 1
is
2.
brought to you by Colby Jack Cheese Sticks.
Ah!
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I have enough cheese in my diet.
Check 1
Is that
2.
really a
Check
thing?
1 2. Check 1 2. Check.
I was trying to find a snack that wouldn't trigger anybody's allergies or smell too horrible.
Static's just gonna fucking be there. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Okay. Well, and the thing is, you might not even hear it if you flip to the. If somebody were listening on this Twitch stream, they might not even hear that. Because no, I didn't hear it last week.
Is it some kind of interference with the cable for like that specific
No,
headphone?
it's
Because
like
I don't hear anything.
It's only on this board. It's a dirty fucking noise board. It might be the headphones. I don't know. The only way to tell would be to boot up Twitch and go outside and listen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is I sound muffled as shit in those headphones.
You do sound kind of muffled.
But I'm not muffled here.
No, but I hear myself kind of muffled too. So.
Check.
Oh, I hear you. And that increased that noise floor.
Well, this is just the output for the headphones.
Oh, okay.
So
you
that's a
just
volume
turned it
issue. I'm just turning up your headphones, your individual headphones. Whenever I turned it up, did it make them muffled less?
up. Speak.
Check.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Alright.
Yeah, you could actually bump it down a little bit. That'd be fine. I'd still hear you.
Alright. Okay. See, now that's going to be too loud for us to talk over right there, right? Or is that good?
That's gonna be too loud for me to talk over you. I mean, that means I'd be having to listen to the music the whole time.
No, not the whole time, just when you were talking over.
Oh, well,
It doesn't really matter for this show.
we can
don't
talk over it right
music.
now, but
But can you hear it?
yeah, I can hear the music and I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm not being drowned out by the music. at that
No,
point.
not right now.
But in our headphones, no. Like it's like so light. It's not even funny.
What the hell? Does it just have to do with the way you're inputting into that board?
That board has a shitty fucking built-in compressor that you cannot turn off. And I feel like that's what's going wrong, but I can't fucking prove it.
What are you using for the input on that? Just headphone to headphone?
No, line in. A balanced line in port 1 off of a headphone amp.
Have you tried using the RCA inputs on that instead?
The RCA inputs are for pass-through. You don't want to use those
Okay.
as your main input. It's just like these RCA inputs. They're for pass-through. It's so if you were using this as a live board when the band went on break, but all of your instrument inputs
Gotcha.
are off.
Okay.
It's stupid. Okay. Now let's look and see what the waves look like. The waves are still too fucking small. Still.
Well, Jess said it clipped earlier.
Yeah, when I was yelling directly in the microphone.
Oh.
I'll turn it up to 72. And hit record. Record! Record. Okay. That looks a little more like it. Yeah, if you have that problem again where the whole episode is too low, like one of those ones last week, can you not... If you have one of those problems like you did last week where the whole episode is too whatever.
Right.
Even Martha Stewart,
Amplify
our
the whole
entertainment
thing.
and lifestyle
Okay.
consultant,
Like, amplifying's
looks
not
for ways
good
to
because
cut
it
down
causes
on
a
her
lot of
time in the
artifacts and
kitchen.
issues here and there.
And now, thanks to
So it's
some
like
of
we
our
just
Presto
listened to it in the
products,
car on the
she's
way
found
here.
The Presto
And
salad shooter
it sounded
slices,
just
shreds,
fine
and
for the
grates
volume
all
in the
kinds of
car, but I
foods
noticed it
in
sounded a little
almost
quiet
no time.
when I was doing the
So it's
editing.
great for making
And you
everything
said that
from
you were having
salads to
issues with it
pizza
when
to
you listened to
dessert.
it.
I had to max
And
it
for
out.
making all sorts of
And I was
frozen
listening
foods
all of them in a
nothing
row.
better
I
than
was
the
catching
Presto
up.
Fry Daddy.
And, like,
Presto
it was, like,
products.
normal.
Take a little time to pick one
Way
up
too
today
quiet. I had to
and
max
save
out
a
the
lot of
volume on my
time later.
phone and then back up.
Which is
It's
really
the CVS
fucking
Kmart
weird.
Get Ready giveaway.
Well, that whole
And get
recording
ready
was
for
weird.
Gerald
Remember, there
McCready
was
as Major Dad.
dropouts all
He's a
in
Marine
it.
officer
We
who
were in the
fought his
wrong
toughest
USB
battles were
port.
over, till he fell in love with
All
a
right, so we
sizzling
about
civilian
ready to
and
roll the
her
first
pretty
episode.
darling daughter.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I'm ready now. Let's make an episode, friends.
All right.
Why can I barely hear you?
You can barely hear me? Can you hear me now?
Speak.
Can you-
Check.
Check.
You sound great.
Hello, check.
Am I normal? Maybe.
You're fine.
Spaghettis.
Hello? Hello?
I hear him.
Spaghetti.
You sound like you're talking from the other side of the wall.
Please order more spaghetti.
Maybe it's just your voice. I don't know.
This is me talking normal.
He,
You really
he
can't
was
hear me?
talking weird.
I was talking weird. I was talking weird like this.
This isn't NPR.
This is NPR.
So is he still good or not?
He's good now when he's talking normal.
So I bet that compressor's fucking with his voice.
I wonder.
Guarantee it.
Man, that sucks.
See, now I hear him.
Yeah, now the compressor isn't fucking with his voice.
Now it just sounds like
Thank
there's.
you, J Matt, for subscribing.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
Wow,
It happened right then, so I thought I should
Yay.
give a shout out real
We
fast.
just got a subscriber on the fly. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, how about that? Appreciate it, J-Matt.
If you're not a bot, we love you.
If he is a bot, we don't care because that gives us,
Yeah.
money.
Because they
Yeah,
subscribed.
we'll just need to figure out why there's the white noise generator in the background on this thing. But
I'm telling you, like it's got to be that into there, and we'll check the video. I think it maybe the headphone port sucks on this because we're good here.
right.
Like there's no noise here. There's no noise floor at all.
So you think it's just because you've got me plugged into that?
You're plugged into a completely different
Hey.
headphone setup.
What did you say his name was? J-Matt?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, J-Matt, how's the audio sound? Are you hearing a static like a noise generator, like white noise? Of course, there's what's the delay on there
Like
before
5 seconds or so. I
No, I
don't
think
know.
it's a little bit more than that. He may have just dropped in and subscribed and really isn't watching live either.
That's very possible too. Oh, we can just live with it for
All
right now. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is somehow the air conditioner might be interfering with it, but I don't see that doing not this sound.
No, it's a noise floor. It's a
Yeah.
dirty noise floor. That's like the bad board is what that is.
That's disappointing.
Well, it could just be on the headphone part.
No.
Because what I listened to on Twitch last week wasn't bad. But
Right.
we weren't actively monitoring this last week. We figured it was good once, it'll be good forever.
Right.
Which was dumb.
Okay. So we ready to get rolling?
Yep.
All right. Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Ignorance of the Law. I'm Russ.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Jazz.
Sitting across from me is the lovely, the generous, the down-home, honest-to-God king of Pikey Mountain, the bearded wonder himself, After Lunch Jason.
Gentle sirs.
And to my left is Bubba.
Hi.
So much energy. So much energy.
Hi.
So, here we are in our newly, I guess renovated, was renovated the right word? Studio. Things have been moved around. It's quite a bit brighter in here. You can see what you're doing. We've got some new equipment thanks to Past Master. Thank you very much, buddy.
And Patreon.
And to our Patreon subscribers. So we're still working through a few of the kinks, but I think we've got most of it resolved to this point. But anyway, I think it's time that we jump right on in and let Mr. Kyle do what Mr. Kyle does.
So I want to talk about two weird laws, and these were not written in English originally, so they've been translated, and they might be a little hard to understand, but we're going to read through them, and I'm going to read the laws as they're translated. I want you to tell me what it means, and then we'll go from there. There's two laws. So here's the first one. Farmers, during their terms, shall not make waste, sell, nor exile of house, woods, men, nor of anything belonging to the tenements that they have to farm, without special license, and by writing of covenant, making mention that they may do so, which thing if they do, and thereof be convict, they shall yield full damage and shall be punished grievously.
Okay, wait.
And henceforth forever shall be known as the law of the land.
So I think we need to.
We'll break it down slowly.
Let's break it down slowly because I'm not sure I understood half that.
I
understood the end. You get punished.
Farmers.
Something bad happens.
Yes. So farmers during their terms.
Hang on a second. Farmers, somebody who farms.
Yes, during their terms.
What terms? Like term papers, terminologies?
I guess it depends on what your definition of is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill Clinton.
So a term being a period of time.
Okay. But it sounds like there's very specific terms. What I mean, I guess I'm not understanding what they're referring to. Do farmers have certain terms?
We're talking about
growing.
What do they call it when?
Like a lease or during a.
There's a term for a farmer that does not own the land they're working.
Sharecroppers.
Sharecroppers.
Come on, sharecroppers.
Yes.
Tenant farmer type.
So during their term.
Okay.
They done got tractored off their land.
Term of employment, basically, shall not make waste, sell, nor exile. So they shall not waste. No, waste in this case I think means like break, destroy.
Okay.
To make a waste of something.
Okay.
Sell, nor exile. So
you, sir, are banished. You
can't come back. Your sheep cannot return.
Right. But it's saying
to the wall with you.
The farmers should not waste, sell, or lose. Basically, instead of exile, it's like lose. Of house, woods, men, nor anything belonging to the tenements they have to farm.
Okay. So I think I understand this.
Yeah, whatever was there whenever you took over your tenement has to stay there.
Get rid of it or throw it away or do anything. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Without special license.
Okay.
Had by writing of covenant. So
without permission of the guy that owns it.
Your landlord.
Making mention that they may do so. So yeah, that's
okay. So it's like you can't paint the walls in your apartment while you're renting.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Pretty much. Yeah, except related to farmhands, right?
You can paint farmhands,
but no. The farmhands are the ones that are in trouble if they do this.
Oh,
I'm sure you can get permission to paint your farmhand.
I mean, depends on what year it was.
And if they are convicted, they shall yield full damage and be punished grievously.
Grievously.
Define grievously. How grievously? I mean,
I don't know. That's what it says.
Beaten.
Mostly, what they do is they jump down from the ceiling and say hello there.
Grievous. Grievously.
Do they not
Russ
get painted?
doesn't get it. Russ doesn't get it. It's fine.
I don't think he does. I don't know. He doesn't know why that's funny.
He doesn't get it. It's fine. Let him be oblivious.
Fine. Go right ahead. Is this a Game of Thrones reference?
Nope.
Keep going. Guess.
No.
He has to guess.
Yes.
Nope.
It's as nerdy. I'll give you that. It's in nerddom.
Yeah. No.
I know.
What?
Star Wars.
Yes. Bubba wins.
General Grievous.
Yeah.
General Grievously.
Which episode was that in?
Episode 2, right? 2?
Season 18, episode 4.
Was that during the long drawn out discussion regarding like trade relations and?
No.
No, it was after that.
Yeah. This was in the only good prequel.
Hello there.
I don't know. I kind of pretend that the prequels don't exist.
The third one's good.
Eh.
It is. It is. It is.
So we're going to call that Farmers Shall Do No Waste. Okay? Farmers Shall Do No Waste. Time for the second law. Ready?
Hang on a second.
Fix
Thorsten
the cable.
evidently thinks he's Quasimodo
Fix the
here,
cable.
and he's slumping down. I don't know if he was trying to sniff the table or what the hell he's doing
Don't
here.
sniff. Don't sniff the table.
Sit up, boy. Sit up.
I am.
Good. Now get closer.
Will
Kiss-
he be
kiss the
grievously
microphone.
punished if he does
Wait,
not
who-
fix his
who-
posture?
Yes, grievously.
Me.
Who uses this microphone?
That is my mic.
Okay, good. So you won't have to worry about germs. I was afraid it might have been like Avery's or Fred's or something.
No, Fred is where Kyle is.
Okay, Kyle, do not lick the pop screen.
I mean,
Fred's,
to be
Fred's
fair,
the cleanest one out of all of us.
you forgot Brian.
Ooh, yeah, well.
Little filter thing catches it also.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, if I had to drink after somebody in the studio on Sunday mornings, it would be Fred.
Wait, what?
I mean, other than you, of course.
Nice save, man. Nice
Yeah.
save.
I feel a
You
little
don't
hurt.
count. I live with you.
Anybody
We've got
want some hand
the
sanitizer?
hand sanitizer going on
Here,
there.
I'll take some. Oh, not over the board. That was
God.
dumb. Why did we do that?
I don't know.
You reached.
Retarded.
That scared me. just a little bit. Got a little scared there.
Well, I was thinking about it as I did. I was like, hey, he reached over it, so I guess we'll do it. Kyle, would you like some hand sanitizer?
No, I'm good. I have an immune system. I'll be fine.
My name's Kyle.
Look at me and my immune system. You know, there's millions of kids in hospitals right now that think you're making fun of them. Good job, Kyle.
Maybe
Good
I
job.
am.
I would take it as a
Should we-
compliment if you sneezed in my face.
Should we just move him over to this seat?
No, it's fine.
I could cough in your mouth.
Just remember, do you know what St. Jude is the patron saint of?
Kids with cancer.
No, lost causes. I'm dead serious.
Really?
Look it up. Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
They really did name a children's cancer hospital after the.
Lost causes.
Wow.
That's so
I hope
horrible.
I hope they don't teach religion in that hospital while
I
the
know.
kids are there.
They
Wow.
don't teach kids what it is.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Sister, what's St. Jude the patron saint of? Well,
Curing kids of cancer.
lost causes, just like you, little Timmy.
Wow. Man. All right, I'm sorry, Kyle. We derailed it. What was that second one you were
fine.
about to start in on?
So we'll call that first part "Farmers shall do no waste."
Shall do no waste.
Yeah, because the farmers are not allowed to waste.
So thou shalt do no waste.
Thou shalt do no waste.
Okay.
Right. Part 2.
So this is part 2 of the same law.
They're related in a way I'll explain later.
Okay. You're not gonna make me guess, right?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
That he knows of.
So this is
Yeah.
again, this is a translation to English. Here we go. It is provided and granted that if any from henceforth take such revenges of his own authority without award of the king's court as before is said, and be convicted thereof, he shall be punished by fine.
Punished?
He shall be punished by pine.
It's where they tickle you to death.
Yes.
Oh,
With the
I
pine
thought that's
needles.
where you went to the fungeon.
Or
It's the
that.
fun
Wait,
dungeon.
Funyuns? What?
The fun dungeon. The
No,
fun
no,
dungeon.
the fun-
Funyuns.
The fun
It's
dungeon.
all like inflatable.
It's like a bouncy castle.
Yeah, it's a bouncy castle
okay.
except a dungeon.
Except you never stop bouncing.
You can't stop.
It smells of kids.
You just
feet.
want to lay down and rest. They keep bouncing.
Why is that camera shaking so much?
I don't know. What, you want me to move it? Or I'm not. Wait, there is a slight shake on the camera feed.
Yeah, I wanted to stop shaking. Like somebody had to hit it, or somebody moved the whole table or something because it was shaking a lot.
I don't know. I can shake it by moving the table like that. But you don't. I don't even notice it in the feed. It must have some sort of image stabilizing.
Yeah. So, just stop shaking it so much. Okay, thank you. Continue.
Okay, so we're on the Funyuns.
Yes.
You might want to start this one over there, buddy.
Yeah, it's fine.
We got lost.
It is provided and granted that if any from henceforth take such revenges of his own authority, without award of the king's court as before is said, and be convicted thereof, he shall be punished by fine.
Okay.
Where is this?
I can't tell you yet.
Okay, can we break this
Gotta
down
be
again
England.
step by
Yeah,
step?
let's break it down.
Well, I wouldn't say England because he said it had to be
King.
translated from another language.
He said, "Oh,
There's a lot of places that have kings. I mean,
yeah,
let's face it, that was kind of the de facto government for a long time.
it could be Spaniards."
Greece?
All right, so it is provided and granted, so that doesn't really mean anything.
Well,
it just means
that's
we're
just
saying so.
that's kind of those we
Yeah.
assume this crap.
Yeah. From henceforth,
From this day forward.
Sorry. If any take such revenges of his own authority.
Okay, so if you take revenge on your own, so if I were to take a ball peen hammer and hit somebody's car because they dinged mine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, without award of the king's court.
Okay, so without the king telling me that I can take the ball peen hammer and hit that guy's car.
Yep.
Okay.
And be convicted thereof.
Wait. Convicted of
taking revenge.
Without.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm convicted of hitting the car with a ball peen hammer without the king telling me I can do it.
Yep. Shall be punished by fine and according to the trespass.
So I'm going to be punished monetarily according to how bad it was.
Yep. And then here's the rest of that one. And likewise, if one neighbor take a distress of another.
Take a distress.
I'm not sure what this.
He harassing me.
Yeah. I think that's what it means. Like, this person's harassing me. This person did this to me.
Okay.
So. I was trying to harass you.
Without award of the king's court, whereby he hath damage.
Wait. So if you're harassing your neighbor without the king's court telling you can harass your neighbor.
Sire, my neighbor is kind of a stickler. He called the cops on me last night at 9:45 for playing my music too loud. The sun had just went down. I would like to harass him.
Who is that, Rand Paul, that got in trouble for Ron Paul? Who's the politician that him and his neighbor were having the big beef and there was like...
Oh, that didn't have anything to do with music, yeah.
Yeah,
no, that had to do with grass clippings.
Actually?
No joke. It had to do with grass clippings.
Yeah, mowing his lawn.
Rene Burchard got pissed that Rand Paul always dumped his grass clippings on his side of the property line, so he blindsided him one day when he was cutting his grass.
What, like tackled him?
Yeah, just speared him.
Embarrassingly enough, I've seen somebody dump grass clippings into a creek, and I know somebody who completely lost their mind and like started hollering like an old man on someone's lawn.
I might lose my crap for seeing that, but I'm picturing, now that I'm making my way through Parks and Rec, now I've got some references. I'm picturing Andy taking out the possum.
It was like that, but way more rich white guy.
Okay.
Like way more rich white guy.
So he had his chauffeur do it.
No, he did it, but it was just, why are you dumping your grass clippings on my $8 million house? And then he was like, I'm a senator. You can't mess with me. And then he's like, yeah, I can.
He did not get his king's approval.
Yes, he did not get it. Had he went before the king and been like, Sir, Mr. Paul or Your Grace, Mr. Paul has been dumping his grass clippings upon my property. I request permission to take my revenge upon him and harass him.
Now, what if you're a member of the court?
I guess you would have to recuse yourself?
Yeah, what if you're able to give your own permission? Does it cover that?
I think the king just does that himself.
King just does whatever the hell he wants to, like form the Church of England.
He'll ask for forgiveness after the fact. Just go ahead and do it.
Okay,
right.
so
you can't revenge.
You can't revenge.
You can't harass.
Well,
I don't think it's
waste.
You can't harass. It's that you can't say that someone has harassed you and then try to take revenge for that.
Oh, I can't harass back. So it's harass, no takebacks.
That's good to know.
No, I can harass you. You can harass me. But if revenge happens, I need the court's.
It can't be a revenge harassment.
So you're just saying it needs to be a random harassment?
Yeah. I think that's fine according to this law.
That might
anyway.
be a different. That might be a different law and a different penalty.
Okay, keep going now that we don't know where the hell we're at.
It says, if one neighbor take a distress of another without award of the king's court, whereby he hath damaged, he shall be punished in the same wise, and that after the quantity of the trespass, and nevertheless sufficient and full amends shall be made to them that have been sustained by loss of such distresses.
So you get fined and you have to apologize?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's like
so confusing.
Is that what it says?
I broke 3 ribs when he tackled me over my grass clipping, so he has to pay my doctor bills
Yeah.
and say I'm sorry.
So this is the I'm sorry law?
It's the I'm sorry law, and also you can't take revenge on your own authority.
Revenge.
You can't seek penalty for somebody doing wrong on your own authority.
Well, that sucks.
This is why we have a legal system.
Wait. So what you're telling
It's an
me...
anti-vigilante law.
What
Charles Bronson would not fare well in this country.
So what you're telling me is that if an Amazon driver spins out his tires in my gravel driveway,
Or a
I can't
UPS
hold
driver,
him at
maybe.
gunpoint until he cleans up my gravel.
Yeah, probably. Except I don't think that would have happened at the time this law was written.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No Amazon delivery drivers?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Only actual Amazonians.
Maybe.
They weren't delivering things.
No, they
This is
were
before
an
they delivered
oddity.
packages.
So was this before, like, the Pony Express?
Yeah.
Well, how damn
Let's
old
play
is
The
this
Price is
thing?
Right. How old?
Okay, first I want to know
Rome.
what language it was in. What did it translate from? Can
Latin.
you tell me that?
Latin.
Original
it's
Latin?
Probably Roman then.
Roman.
It's not Roman.
Pig Latin?
I'm going...
Mexilatin. Latin America.
No, I'm going one of the Germany countries.
Something Germanic?
Yeah, one of the early Germanic countries.
Like Prussia or...
I'm saying this was the law under Charlemagne.
You're getting closer, but
Earlier or later?
earlier, I believe.
What, can you name earlier than
Wait.
Charlemagne?
What year is Charlemagne? You tell me what year Charlemagne.
Yeah, what year
is,
was
and I'll tell you.
Charlemagne, son?
Charlemagne would have been...
Last year in school?
Nice.
right around like 850?
Okay, so this is after that.
Alexander the Great.
That's
No, that's
before Charlemagne.
earlier.
Bob Barker.
No,
Napoleon.
this is before that.
Edward the First.
Who's Edward the First?
I don't know. He was the father of Edward the Second.
Nice. No, I don't know. You have to give me like a year or a country or something. Just pick a year, Russ.
1100.
Okay.
1150.
What do you think, Jazz?
Did you say
I think I'm
1101?
lost, so I'm just gonna guess 1142.
Okay.
You got an 8-year chance.
Bubba,
What do you think, Bubba?
go 1200.
1200.
Okay. The year is 1267.
Hey, you got closer without going over. You win
These,
the prize.
these two laws are from the Statute of Marlborough from England.
Wait.
England?
England.
What does this have to do with cigarettes?
It's nothing to do with cigarettes.
Then
So why did it
That's
did it
what
have
they
to
farmed.
be translated from Celtic?
No, this is
French?
Like
this
early
was
Roman
this
settlements?
was like old like malformed English
Gaelic.
Latin. No, like English Latin in the 1200s. So this is after. This is a confusing time.
In the 1200s, most
It's still a
English people
confusing time.
spoke something relatively close to English. That's weird.
But this is not common people speaking though. It's like the royalty.
Huh.
They cannot speak the same language as their common people.
Yeah, there's High Valerian and Low Valerian. I get it. But still,
Valerian, what?
don't worry about it, Russ.
Okay.
It's above your head.
So the reason these two
The answer's not
laws
up there.
are important or interesting is because these are the two oldest laws on the books in the entire world right now
Really?
That are still in effect?
that are still in effect.
Huh.
Now, of course, we're not talking about religious laws or moral laws or any bull crap like that, because
The
those are not
laws
real
of
laws.
God.
Yeah, we're not talking about the laws of God.
Governmental laws.
But yeah, these are
Yeah, your
actual.
priest will be mad if he knows that you said that it's not real
It's
laws.
fine. He can say that.
So I mean,
We'll
they
see
have
if God's mad.
You're gonna have to go talk to your
It's
priest.
fine. I'll talk to the friends.
He's got a candy bar in his pocket.
Well,
He's a little old.
yeah.
He doesn't like you anymore.
But yeah, these are actually still used in the courts of England today. So
wow.
the farmers shall do no waste is basically the idea that like sharecroppers and people who are temporary farmers, they can't abuse the property of the farm owner, and they also can't lose equipment or harm the livestock or anything else that belongs to the farm owner.
So these are really just like medieval "don't be a dick" laws.
Yeah, kind of. Well, the second one's important because it's basically saying you have to have a court order to take any kind of action on something.
But does that mean that you could actually at that time get court ordered for
Apparently.
taking
Yeah.
revenge? I mean, like,
Yeah.
could I go to
But
the
your
magistrate?
revenge would probably be more like the magistrate would say, so you threw a rock at this dude's house and tore out the whole wall because we live in mud huts right now. So you have to go over there next Sunday and build him a new mud hut wall.
Or
But-
you shot his cow, your cow.
Or
is
you
not
have to
his.
pay the mud hutter, the guy, like the carpenter
mud hut.
of the mud hut, to come over and fix his wall because you threw that rock with wanton endangerment for his mud hut.
So,
You killed his wife, so now he gets your daughter.
Yeah.
You know,
How-
fair. You know.
how big is this rock?
Property is property.
Yeah, property's property.
your dog beat on the mud hut that made the wall collapse. Oh God! So I could actually get the court to tell me, yeah, you can go take revenge on somebody.
Yeah, I think it was more like you can collect this amount of money from him.
I'd rather take revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they actually let
Admit
you
it,
like.
admit it. The guy that dinged your car, you would rather be able to legally take revenge on him than for him to pay you for the touch-up paint.
No. I would like to be there while he pays the guy I hired to do the touch-up paint, and just look at him the whole time, like pay the man in singles, you POS.
Would you be able to stay that calm?
Sure. I'm a calm guy.
Very calm.
I've never lost my complete shit over whether or not a burger was good or not.
Look, I'm telling you, it's a consistency issue.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It is. It's about
Absolutely.
consistency.
That sounds reasonable.
Burgers should only have one consistency. If it's like a smoothie or a
Cooked.
Slurpee, you're doing it wrong, dude.
Wait, is
But-
that why he doesn't like burgers
Yeah,
so much?
he's eating
Yes.
the wrong thing. It's not
Burger Slurpees are delicious.
absolutely horrifying.
Drop it into a blender. Oh
No.
my God!
Mm.
That's,
Put your pickles, ketchup, mustard, everything you want
Put
on
some
it.
bacon in there.
No, I did.
Avocado.
I did see a chef the other day that he would take like a quarter of a already cooked like Big Mac, just take a quarter of it and process that into either butter or mayonnaise, and then use that on a burger later.
That sounds delicious.
And he said it's actually amazing because you get like this flavor explosion.
Explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're having about 20 minutes after you eat that too.
Yeah.
It's like
Flavor
White Castle.
explosion.
It ain't a flavor
And
explosion.
it blows out the side of your hut, and then you have to try
And then you
to
have
be
to
mad
have
at your
someone
neighbor.
else fix it.
Yeah.
So then
you
you
have to call
gotta.
the mud hunter.
You want revenge on the guy who served you a burger within a burger. So you gotta take him to the king's.
Inception.
Burger Inception. Oh God, no! We're not going to get into the burger thing on the air. At least not this episode.
My lord, had I known that there was a burger within this burger, I would not have consumed 2 of them.
I want revenge upon the Burger Man.
I need vast quantities of revenge because he destroyed my outhouse. I had to dig a new latrine, my lord.
The diarrhea was so explosive I could not make it to the latrine.
The
It
ass
flew out
fell
the
up.
side.
The ass fell upon the site of the old latrine and had to be put down. It was a real shitty situation, my lord. I demand revenge. What say you, Burger Man? This man has brought a viable complaint against you. Well, I take the burger and I put it in another burger, and then he ate it.
And now we have the origin of the White Castle.
And the Black Plague.
Also the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Oh,
And possibly
Lord.
Ebola.
I like that you played all characters in that little scene there. All 3 of them. It was you.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if we just stayed silent and let him just keep going how long he was.
I could do
like
2
saying
hours.
something.
I could do 2 hours, no problem.
All right, go.
Not right now. It's not the show.
No on demand, huh?
No.
All right, Kyle. So, is that all you've got on the oldest on the books, non-religious, non-moral laws?
Yeah, that's the one, and apparently, especially the second part there is actually still used in courts today regularly.
Well, I would say like you could extend that out to like renters of
Yeah.
any sort.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's got to be some sort of a binding obligation if you're renting or leasing something. I mean, it's just like if you lease a car or you rent an apartment. There's gonna be an agreement that says you can and can't do this stuff.
Well, I mean, the standard law in almost all 50 states is you return the leased, borrowed, rented object in the same condition in which you received it, minus normal wear and tear of usage.
Right.
That
Well,
sounded really legal.
During
I watch a lot of People's Court
during the
Judge Judy.
in that.
during all the feudalism era, you've got all these serfs that are basically working on the property of the lords and or king, and so they had to make some laws to require them to take care of the property because I'm sure they weren't oppressed enough.
They can't take it upon themselves to bust up a shift a robe.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it boils down to is they're being so oppressed that the nobles wanted some way to keep them from tearing their crap up just because they're pissed off at being oppressed.
Yeah, maybe so. Sure, that's all part of it.
So, do you have anything else old from England?
I do. We can give me a second here.
Other than Theresa May. Or Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher's dead, isn't she?
I would say so.
I would think so.
She looked dead in the 80s.
Well, that's true.
Falkland Islands.
The what islands?
The Falkland Islands.
Am I going to have to edit that out?
The Falkland Islands.
Watch your language.
Our brave boys at the Falkland Islands.
So, does anyone want to sing a song while we're waiting for Kyle to scroll on his...
I vote Jason.
I can talk more about the Falkland Islands.
Tell us about the Falkland Islands.
I don't know. There was a war there.
So I've got a couple more. If you remember back on a different episode of Ignorance of the Law.
Which episode?
I don't have them numbered in my head. We talked about laws from the United Kingdom where people believed they were laws and they maybe were or were not.
Oh yeah, that
laws.
was season on episode.
Same season, Russ.
right.
There's only been one season. We're still in the first
We're in
season.
season 2, man.
Wait, are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Since when?
Since
like
after
12
break?
episodes ago.
Really?
We got the new intro
Yeah.
and everything.
We got a new intro?
Yeah, it's got CGI now.
Yeah.
Oh, I never watched the
It's in
video
3D.
intro.
Yeah, you didn't watch the video.
Yeah, I didn't know.
There's like naked chicks.
Yeah,
and-
it's
Oh,
all. It's
I'll
all
check it out.
nice.
Send me a link. That's
yeah,
cool.
it's all in VR.
VR? I got a VR headset. We're good.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not compatible on the PS4.
I have a Samsung Gear too. We're
Oh
good.
well, there you go. You're perfect.
Yeah, so send it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so is it a law or not? It is illegal to crack a boiled egg at the sharp end.
Wait.
Yes, it's illegal.
Wait, no. I want you to explain this to me. The sharp end.
I don't know what the hell.
There's
that
an
is.
end that's sharper than
I
the
didn't
other
know
one.
that eggs had a
There's
sharp
a
end.
pointier end.
That's
yeah,
what they're talking
that's
about.
what they're talking about.
Okay, so
It's
it's
not
illegal
sharp,
to
it's
crack it at the
pointier.
pointy end.
Yeah.
Is this in Britain?
Well, possibly.
Okay,
That's-
they get really weird about how you crack hard-boiled eggs.
That's
and like,
right.
Is it soft-boiled? Is it parboiled? I'm gonna say yeah. They get.
Yeah.
Dude, do you have to rattle it next to the microphone? I gave you cheese. I didn't. Christ.
You guys are like toddlers, aren't you? You gotta have snacks.
Do you want one? Are you jealous?
No, I'm just saying. No,
Don't hold the cheese over the board. He gets crazy.
Yes, over the expensive board that is
If the cheese falls on it, it'll ruin it.
Put the
for her.
wrapper down.
that
Step
is
away from the wrapper.
the one piece of equipment that cannot be replaced on the fly on this show. Yes, correct.
But watching this, you can tell they're definitely related.
Yes.
What? No.
Yeah,
not
y'all
related.
both wiggled your limp cheese sticks in the same manner.
It's a family tradition.
I'm saying this isn't a law.
I'm saying it is.
I'm saying it's not a law, but it was petitioned at one point to be made a law.
Wow. Jazz?
I think it's not.
Yeah, it's not a law. So this is one of those laws that a lot of English people thought was a thing, and it's really just not.
So it was England.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're weird about their eggs.
You should have listened.
Yeah,
You
but
said
who-
it was in England.
Yeah, I said it was in England.
Well, now
But
you
who
tell
would?
me.
No.
But who would try to crack an egg on that end anyway? It's the worst possible place to crack an egg.
That's why I crack.
You're
You're
supposed
going to
crack
jail,
it.
son.
Have you tried doing it anywhere else on the egg? Because
No.
literally
Well-
everywhere else on the egg works out better.
Yes.
Okay, there's a reason why he doesn't cook his own eggs.
I can tell.
Because you wind up with shell.
That's
all
what I was
over
gonna.
the
Yeah.
place.
I get most of the shell
The
out.
shell's pretty good for you. It's full of calcium.
it makes it crunchy.
and it's sulfur.
The crunchy
Speaking
is what
of
gets
eggs,
me.
I got one this morning and it was undercooked. I was mad about that.
That's so sad.
Undercooked eggs are called eggs.
Well-
that's how they're supposed to be.
Well, the problem was it was supposed to be scrambled, and it was one of those where when they scrambled it, they did the folding thing, and
Yeah.
the whites were still like that gooey, gummy,
Ugh.
like
It's fine.
in between
No, it's not fine.
consistency.
No,
It was gross. I mean,
It's fine.
it's like slime.
Yeah, it's fine.
I won't eat them. I will throw them away.
that right there is the reason why I've stopped eating eggs.
I mean, I like my eggs to be so runny, so runny.
Have you ever tried grape jelly and ketchup on runny eggs? Dude, seriously, it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. What?
My mom makes meatballs with grape jelly and barbecue sauce.
Actually, that's delicious too.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
You'd never know just tasting it.
Oh
You'd
man,
never know.
it's so good. But seriously, grape jelly and ketchup is delicious.
I would just like to point out to you,
Carrots and orange
Yeah.
juice.
because this part of the table has lost their mind.
It's fine, yeah.
What is in that string cheese?
I'm just
It's
wanting
not
to
string
point
cheese,
out
it's
to you.
Stoney Jack, you want some?
It's laced.
The last time we were all together, he was screaming about how Wendy's puts too much mayo
They do.
on their cheeseburgers.
They do.
And then the same guy looked at me less than 2 minutes ago and said, "Have you ever put grape jelly on and ketchup on your eggs?"
It's delicious.
No, what you're missing is the part right before that. Well, he says that the runniness is why he doesn't eat eggs.
Yes.
So he's telling you how to eat your eggs, but he won't eat eggs.
Not anymore. And it's the runny whites. Runny yolks.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
on board
runny
with
yolks
that.
are good. Runny whites are.
It's runny whites.
I'll throw 'em
Orange
away.
juice and carrots are awesome.
Orange juice, carrots cooked in orange juice is delicious. Don't look at me in that tone of voice, young
They're
man.
the same
That's,
color.
that's an abomination.
You
So
should try it.
You
the,
should try it.
Says the man who ate black garlic.
Yeah.
It's just garlic. End of story.
Did you ever have any sort of
Nope.
adverse
I
reaction to that?
had some farts that I would categorize as not silent, definitely deadly, and
Do you have
lingering.
any, Do you have any more?
Like heavy. Like they sound heavy.
Like, do you have any more?
They
of
sound like
this
mustard
garlic?
gas. Like
Yes.
you could see it rolling across the room.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, it was denser than air. So-
I do not want this for myself. However, for the marathon show, I would like for Avery to eat some of it
I can bring some in.
at a appropriate interval prior, so that during the marathon show he is experiencing the intestinal
No.
distress.
Why would- this is a very small
no,
room.
it takes over 24 hours.
It's a very small room.
But I'm not allowed to eat the dog food jelly beans.
Never
anymore.
again.
Did you see what it did to
Never
this small room?
again.
That wasn't as bad as
You
what he's
burped.
describing.
You burped, and the whole room
I
smelled
know,
like dog
it
food.
was phenomenal.
Never
It was
again.
epic.
Woof.
Never.
Right, so
Woof,
that's
woof.
why I want to get that garlic for Avery.
No, it takes a long time to digest it, and since it was fermented in honey, it just smells like honey.
How long did it take you
24 hours.
before it kicked you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to get some more of that, and we'll get to
No.
Wolf Kid 24 hours prior to the show. And I guarantee if he's listening, he would agree that he'll eat it. I guarantee he'll
Our
eat
light is so blight that it's bleached
Blight?
a spider. Yep.
it. The blight light bleached the spider. Holy crap, it did bleach
Oh,
the
wow.
spider.
Just saying.
Cool.
I don't know, as long as you don't stare at it, you're fine.
I'll leave that spider there as a warning to the others.
Oh, I thought that was the spider that hangs out on the couch. It just got
You,
bleached
you
by
might
the
want
light.
to get rid of that so Bruce doesn't stab another hole in the ceiling. Just saying.
He
That's
stabbed
that.
a hole in the ceiling over a spider.
Yeah,
Yeah, he freaked out a little bit.
it was kind of hilarious.
And he blamed it on me, and then, like, it was on camera. Like, we could just go back and look.
Shall I tell you about the boiled egg?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So, I know British people, they're very particular about their eggs. I mean, they've even got the little cups for,
Poached
proper,
eggs.
Well, not poached eggs. Sometimes they got the little cup that they put the hard-boiled egg on top,
Yeah.
or the soft-boiled egg on top, and then there's
Ding, ding, ding.
there's actually special tools
Yeah.
made for the proper cracking of the shell. I believe there's a
Yeah.
German one specifically that I'm thinking
I
about.
think they do that too.
Yeah, but they've got special tools made for cracking the shell just perfectly.
There's a gas station that is headquartered in your town.
If you say eggs in a gas station, you've already messed up.
I know.
They actually cook real eggs at that gas station.
But that's what I was going to say.
I've watched them.
Is they also have, like, a short order kitchen that they actually cook real food in.
It's surprisingly good.
And it's good food. So one day I stopped in there and they had eggs out, and I was like, "Oh, I'll grab a couple of eggs because I love hard-boiled eggs." And then when I got to the truck, they were shelled. If
Yes.
you're gonna charge me $2 for 2 eggs, bitches better be pilling them. All I'm saying.
You were upset that they
Maybe that
didn't-
should be a law.
You're upset that they didn't take the shell off of them?
Yes.
I don't
And you're
understand.
complaining about his burger rant.
Yeah.
No. You don't understand. I paid $2.
Uh-huh.
That's $1 an egg.
Taking the shell off's the worst damn part.
Yeah, and now I'm in my car driving down the street.
Yeah,
How am I going to
and
shell an
you
egg
can't
driving?
eat egg.
With your hand?
I'm paying for the convenience of you having the eggs here. Part of that is shelling it.
No, I agree. That should be a law.
I don't know what to say, man.
I could see if it was $1 for 2 eggs. I'd be like, all right, of course they're going to still have the shell on them.
But
And why are you making them wet looking like they're shelled? Why are you trying to deceive me?
I got a question. Was it a clear container?
It was, but they were wet, which made them look like they had been shelled because they were shiny.
But was one end of it flattened? Hey, that's the thingy.
No, you couldn't see because they were standing up in the thing.
The eggs were standing.
Well, they were like, it was a small container, and they were holding each other up along with the sides of the container. So you couldn't see the flat part.
You couldn't see the entire egg.
No, it was like a paper cup.
Oh,
You could
they're
just
in
see
a
the.
cup?
Yeah, yes, they were in a cup.
I thought you said they were in a container.
Like a cup container. It was like a. You know, fuck it. Move on. Talk about the fucking eggs. I'm done with this.
2 eggs, 1 cup. So anyway, that's not a law that it's illegal to crack a boiled egg at the sharp end. People attribute that law to Edward VI. However, there's only one statute during his entire reign related to eggs, and it has to do with the theft of eggs from birds' nests or from other people's farms, rather than anything about eating eggs or boiling eggs. And there's no other law about hard-boiled eggs from any other time period. So nobody knows where that came up, but somebody made that up at one point and it stuck. So
So that would be classified as the ones that people believe are true but aren't really.
Yep.
I mean, how would you enforce that if it really were a law? How
Probably
do you
the
enforce
egg
that?
police, the Eggman that the Beatles.
Boo-boo
Yeah, he'd
Ka-choo.
show up. He'd show up and he'd get you.
So I want to revisit very briefly. I can agree with you that it's false advertising, Jason.
It's not that it's false advertising. It's the way it was contained and the way they were shiny made me believe they were pre-pilled. And for $2, they should be.
Well, but also for that same.
I could buy a dozen eggs at the store for $2.50.
Exactly.
50 cents more, I could get a dozen.
But from that same standpoint, you have your own chickens. You realize how prolific those dang things are when they start really laying. And eggs are not of as high of a value to you and I as they would be to, say, Kyle, who doesn't have chickens.
I'm just saying,
So
if
I'm
you're at
willing
a
to pay
restaurant,
$2 for
if you're
eggs-
serving me a cheeseburger that I don't have to cook myself, don't make me peel my damn eggs. It's part of the cooking process.
So let's think about it this way. If you ordered an Egg McMuffin at McDonald's and it still had the shell on the eggs when you got your McMuffin, you'd be pissed.
I will have thought Torsten cooked it. Because but I agree with you.
I'm a better cook
I
than
agree.
that. I'll make you a grilled cheese when we get home.
No shell.
No shell.
Okay, he said no shell.
On the grilled cheese?
Make that grilled cheese boneless.
Are you going to use mayonnaise on the bread?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you always use.
It's the only way to make a grilled cheese. What are you doing?
Wrap it up, B.
Why?
It's 40 minutes.
Oh, it's been that long
Phew.
already?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. Well, folks, I apologize. It's been much longer than I thought, but hey, you know what? It kind of makes up for that 20-minute episode we had where we, kind of siphoned off the last of the other show. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks for having us in your lives. I appreciate you listening to us. Visit us at eldoradostudio.net, not .com. Shoot us an email at ignoranceofthelaw.podcast@gmail.com. We ain't got t-shirts, so I can't hawk that. I don't know, something about guitar picks from Out for Delivery. Jason's shaking his head at me.
Because none of this is real.
Well, since when do
We're
I live
not
in
real.
reality?
Get your ignorance of the law underwear.
Ooh, you know what? We could probably get that. I found, and this is tangent, and I know I was wrapping up, but I'm going to say it anyway. There is a website where you can buy Speedos that have Ronald Reagan's face on the crotch. I swear.
Why?
I don't know why you want to, but you can.
That's pretty punk rock. Like, back in the 80s, like, punk rocks put Reagan's face
He's
on
the.
everything.
He said carry a big stick, right? Wasn't
no,
that?
that was a different guy.
Who had a big stick?
I think
Rock
he...
Hudson. He had a big stick.
I think
No,
it's...
he was gay.
That's the joke for the swimming trunks.
What?
The Speedo. Who would carry a big stick. You'd have a picture of Ronald Reagan on the butt that says carry a big stick.
Yeah, the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagle Speedos.
Yeah.
The
That's
beak's
awesome.
right in the center of the Speedos.
Yeah, that's
Banana
sweet.
hammocks. Yeah.
It's a thing.
Oh, anyway, thanks for joining us. I guess we'll see you next time.
All right, Twitch will be back in 5 to 10 minutes.
Holy cow.
recording yet, but we're coming back, so mics are live.
Okay.
So you didn't let him watch Star Wars because all you had was a VHS?
Yeah, so I finally got a copy of the original 3 on DVD. So the plan is this summer we're going to watch it.
I'm pretty sure that's child neglect for the record.
I'm sure it is.
And the only reason I knew the Grievous reference was the Lego game.
Okay, so I have no idea what the hell she has done here. Or where the hell she's at.
She ran away.
All of these camera things are pretty screwy. We're just going with that. She gets back.
Close up your crap.
God, you guys are animals, man.
You want some?
No.
Are you sure?
It smells very fishy, right? Like, am I catching like a fishy smell?
I don't know.
Kyle, am I catching a fishy smell?
Yeah, I mean, there's a something there.
You guys are the kind of guys who get on an airplane and like pull out like the stinky sandwiches, right?
Yeah, there's thrumming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Confined space.
Oh yeah.
Bring the stinkiest food we can bring.
Oh yeah, man.
Knowing him, he'll bring beef broth.
Well, the thing is, all normal people like the smell of beef broth. They don't complain about it.
What about dog food jelly beans?
No, that's not
Smells like beef
true.
broth.
Most people are just too polite to say, "Why the fuck are you just drinking beef juice, you fucking animal?"
Your tea smells like shit.
It's delicious.
Alright, let me just check and make sure that's saved properly.
I mean, the way I see it, the smell of my beef broth is no better or worse than these a-holes out there with their vape pens or whatever the hell they are with their
Ooh, let's get a beef broth flavored vape.
Chocolate cappuccino.
You've also
vape
noticed
things.
that I haven't allowed anyone to vape in this room either.
It's a good thing.
Then why are you allowed to breathe beef fumes?
Because it's better than vaping.
That's basically the same as vaping.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes,
There's
it
no
is.
nicotine.
There doesn't have to be nicotine.
Yeah, it does.
It's still vaping.
I'm not vaping beef broth.
Bam.
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 Are we just waiting on her?
Yeah.
Sure.
No, we're gonna go.
You gonna go without her?
Yep. Gonna leave her behind.
How many episodes did we want to do today?
I don't know. That's something y'all need to decide. I don't know when we can record
we
again.
need to do probably 3, I think, as a minimum.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be on vacation
Where are you going?
coming up soon.
Where do you think you're going? Who told you to go on vacation?
Me.
It's not nice.
He's going to go wear the high heels on the
We're
monuments.
taking a break. We're going to Ohio for one weekend, and then another weekend we will be traveling, I believe, to Maryland.
Did Amy take the other dice bag in?
I don't know, but Kyle said he thought that it was
Ryan?
Avery.
Was it Avery?
That
I'll
one.
find it. One of them, they'll be here tomorrow, and I'll find out. So I'll get it to you the next time we record. I don't know. I thought it was you.
No.
No, I think it was Avery.
Might have been Avery.
That's a pretty hefty sack right there.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Jason it works as a great impromptu condom in a pinch.
It would. I think it would pinch if
It
you
will.
used it.
No, it will pinch.
It definitely works as birth control because when you put that on, ain't nobody sleeping with you.
Yeah. It's also not very warm. It is.
I bet that would be cold. It might cause some shrinkage.
You can pre-warm it in the oven.
But
When he brought it in, because it had been in his car, it was pretty warm.
But you could just drop your sack right in that and then cinch it up.
Yeah.
And then it'd be a sack and a sack. You could have sackception.
Well, and the other thing is, if somebody comes at you with a sharp, pointy knife, it'll only
They
do
can't
blunt. It'll only do blunt damage.
Yeah, they can't stab you in your junk.
Yep, only blunt damage, which with the testicles is more than enough.
So did he test this out on his sack prior to?
No.
Well, you need to make sure that your sacks are pre-tested.
Yeah. Well,
So he didn't submit this to the NTBS or anything like that?
I don't know. Is this UL rated?
Yeah, I need to know the safety ratings on my sack chain.
I don't
now.
know, but you could totally put your dice in this thing, and if somebody tries to steal your dice, you whack them upside the head with it. And
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
that's pretty hefty.
It could be used as some sort of a makeshift blackjack. Sure, yeah.
Dude, he really totally needs to start making these and selling them.
I think he did. He sold me one.
No, I mean just more than just.
He made quite a few.
For you guys.
He made 2 sets of armor that he sold to their local they had like a local board games and video games like secondhand shop, and they also had like cool fantasy stuff. He sold a few sets of armor there.
Well, when y'all go play D&D, I bet you the guy who runs that shop would probably want to sell some of those in the shop.
Nah, I doubt it.
You don't think so?
The guy's not a big seller. Like, his focus isn't on selling.
How does
which
he
is
make
weird.
money?
Online. Seriously, he sells everything online.
Dude, I swear to God, I'm going to shove that ice ball up your butt.
You're mean.
That's what she said.
This is child abuse.
Yeah, well, you're it's
Also
so
what
loud.
she said. Did y'all hear about the guy that comes home and tells his girlfriend, I don't like your dad at all. Why not? He called me a pedophile. That's a pretty big word for a 7-year-old.
So, there is a movement out there.
A movement?
A movement that is trying to get rid of the word pedophile.
Pedophile? We're
And
going
they're
back to
trying- They're trying
pedophile?
to replace it with beta tester. Wah, wah.
That's the worst, dude. The worst.
I don't get it. I legitimately don't get it. Is it because they're testing before it's available for release?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Early adopter. So bad.
Bubba, when we start recording, you're going to have to, not molest your bottle of ice there because, seriously, dog, that's loud.
Stop.
Give me the bottle.
What?
Give me the bottle.
What bottle?
That one. Right there.
Which one?
I'm going to take your phone away.
I'll leave it on. I'll turn the ringer back up. You'll have pew pew pews. Pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. I'll have mommy call me. And then you'll have Mega Man 3.
Nice.
All right, we ready to record?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hit the record button.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ignorance of the Law. I'm your host, Russ.
I'm Kyle.
Jazz isn't in the studio at the moment, but she may be joining us in a little bit. Sitting across from me, apparently meditating, is the sexy, the man, the bearded wonder, Afterlodge Jason.
Chindle sirs.
And to my left is Bubba.
Hi.
Thank you all for joining us on yet another episode of Ignorance of the Law. And I don't know if I can keep that crap up the entire episode.
No,
I'll
it's way
fall
too
asleep.
hard.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and kick through some stuff. Kyle, where are you taking us this time?
Well, today I was looking through Kentucky's revised statutes.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I'm a little afraid now.
And a word caught my eye, and that word was nudist. And
What?
so we have nudist laws.
I'm all for it, not against it. Wait. Hang on. Are we regulating who can be nudie and who cannot be nudie?
You're gonna find out.
All right, let's get into the nakedness.
So, chapter 232.
Bubba, are you old enough for this conversation?
Do you know what a
I don't
nudist
know.
is, Bubba?
Do you know what a nudist is?
Yes.
We're gonna define it.
What's a nudist?
Someone who don't wear no clothes.
That's pretty
In
good.
public.
That's pretty good. Well,
Don't wear no clothes?
don't wear no clothes.
Wait, that's a double
They
negative.
also
That
don't
means that
need
they
no
wear clothes.
education.
We don't need no education?
Nope.
Can't eat, you know what I mean?
Not in
Yeah,
Kentucky, we don't.
Yeah, something about a wall in a children's choir.
So,
Beta testers.
so Kentucky has a law against people being naked outside. Let's go on.
Here we go.
Okay, Kyle, go.
This is the revised statutes, chapter 232, and it's all about nudists, and this is on the books.
It's it's all about nudists and it's on the books.
Yeah, this is
legal.
It's an
this
entire
is the law
chapter.
right now.
It's an entire chapter on nudists.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. So.
Wait, you may have to.
Nudist is defined.
Wait. Just go up here and do some sexy talk about the nudists.
Nudist defined.
Yeah.
As used in this chapter, nudist means any person who displays any part of his or her private person naked before persons of the opposite sex, not his husband or wife, at their solicitation or with their consent, for religious or health purposes, excepting for purposes of examination and treatment by physicians.
I am displaying above the tan line, gentlemen.
Wow.
And
I'm not your doctor.
You're not my doctor, husband, and or wife.
But we could be. Okay. So start from the beginning of that. There's a lot to digest there. Kind of like a burger.
Sure, lady. I'm no gynecologist, but I'll take a look.
Some of you don't want to look.
Yeah,
Okay, Kyle.
don't.
Well, to start from the beginning, let's dissect this.
So we're just defining nudist. Any person who displays any part of his or her private person.
Okay, wait.
Person.
So I want a definition of private person.
I told you, man. Above the tan line. I showed it to you. That's private.
Yeah.
But
The world doesn't get to see that arm. I don't walk around in tank tops. That's private.
Yeah.
That's for my wife and my doctor, and I just showed it to you.
wait, I want to see more skin. Is that a swallow?
Yeah, you know I've got swallows tattooed on
I
my
didn't know
chest.
you had the swallows.
Did too.
No.
I've got both of them tattooed right there.
Oh,
You've
sweet.
always known that.
I have not.
Everybody makes fun of me over that. Look, he's got swallows on his chest.
Why
Betty
would-
Swallows.
Why would somebody make fun of you for the swallows?
I just told you why. It's a girly tattoo, man. It's an old sailor tattoo
it's
that has
totally
now
a-
become a girl
It's
tattoo.
totally a sailor
Just
tattoo.
say it's an albatross,
Dude,
dude.
if you had the two swallows on a tramp stamp, that's totally a girly tattoo.
Yeah.
And then I'd say you swallow.
It's a traditional tattoo. My grandfather
Yeah,
had them.
it's 100%
Like
tradition.
I took in a picture of my grandfather's and said, I want these.
I think it's freaking sweet.
So that's why I've got them.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember knowing that you had swallows.
Yeah. I've had them there for years,
But
dude.
then again,
Years.
I don't remember 2 days ago. So.
I'm also pretty covered. You also didn't know I had a neck tattoo like a few weeks ago.
I didn't. I still haven't seen it. You didn't show it to us that day.
Jesus.
Ooh, show us your private person, Jason.
Yeah, and you're not my doctor either. My arm don't bend that way. I'm not taking my shirt off.
I just see the top of it.
I'll show you on the break.
Okay. I just saw the top of it.
we take all our clothes off and Jazz comes back in. It's
Oh,
the
God.
newest episode, Jazz.
Yes.
I've been gone 20 minutes and it's turned into a dude orgy.
Lord of the Flies.
Oh my God! So should I name this episode "Dude Orgy"? I mean, we might get some
No.
wrong publicity out of that one.
No.
Okay, so
There's
what?
a private person and a public person.
So what are we defining as private person?
It's parts you don't show publicly.
But if you're a nudist, you're showing them publicly.
Right, exactly.
That's how you define nudist.
That's how you define a nudist.
I don't know what's private, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
But what if you're not a nudist, but you're just like an what do you call it?
Exhibitionist.
Yeah,
Exhibitionist. What if you're just one of them? What if you just like, having relations inside of like a large fish bowl?
What if you're like, hanging so low you're stepping on it and you're really proud of that and you want to show it off?
I think that's a little different.
Yeah, it's different.
I think that's, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's concealed weapon.
You're this close to getting turned off. Like your audio, not. Please continue, Kyle, before he drinks more.
I've got more to drink.
So nudist is any person who displays any part of their private person with people who's not their husband or wife or their doctor. That's it.
Okay.
For religious or health purposes.
Well, what if I'm just doing it because I want to? Is it not religiously or health purpose?
I think you could probably make up a religion, Russ.
I don't know. I might have trouble with that.
But you could probably make up a health condition.
I think my
Actually, you
religion
probably
has
don't
to
have to make up a
involve
health
beef
condition.
broth. I have no health condition
Yeah, right.
of that nature.
Exactly.
Clothes make me feel icky.
Yeah, there you go.
They make me sweat down
I have
there.
a condition where my genitals have to be constantly aired out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I break out into a rash that looks somewhat like George Washington.
Our founding fathers.
It makes my junk look like Ronald Reagan.
With or without the powdered wig.
If it gets real bad, you can see Queen Elizabeth in it.
Yeah.
And if you look at it just right, it looks like Al Jolson.
Alright, listen. So chapter 1 was the definition of a nudist.
Alrighty.
Part 1 was definition of a nudist. Part 2, license required for operation of society.
Wait, what? I can get a license
A
for
nudist,
this?
a nudist colony. Yeah.
Here we go. No person shall own. Listen,
You don't want to go. I promise you don't want to go.
Okay.
it's gonna be a bunch of old dudes.
Yeah. I was just gonna say we need to petition for make Pikey Mountain the news column.
No, it was nice back in like the day because it's old hippies is who it is. So back in the day when they were young hippies, it was nice.
Oh, now they're
the
old
problem
hippies and
is
things are sagging and gravity took
the
effect.
people didn't change, but the people's skin did.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No person shall own or operate a nudist society unless he first. Why does it say he? Unless he or she
Women
first.
women aren't into the nudist thing. They just,
yeah, I guess you're
they
right.
just follow it
That's
because
right.
their dudes are into it. Like, I guess, honey, we'll join the nudist colony, whatever.
Yeah. Unless he first secures a license from the county judge or executive in the county in which the nudist society will be located.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
That's awkward.
I'd like to procure a license from you, if I might.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You're gonna open this up? Yeah, some sort of a, well, like a colony, a getaway. Perhaps maybe it'd be best to look at it as a resort.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, really? So where are you putting it? Way out in the woods where nobody could see from the
get
road.
the nudist forms.
Well, and what are you gonna do? Well, we're just basically gonna show up and take our clothes off and play some skee ball and some shuffleboard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
Those aren't coffee stains on the seats.
Let me get those forms for you. Here in Kentucky, where we're very accepting of those kind of lifestyles.
Right. As
I'm pretty sure women still ain't allowed to vote in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Kyle, look it up.
Well, they
Find
can't
out.
own a nudist colony since it says he. Let's see here. Any person who desires license shall file an application with the county clerk, setting forth the name and address of the owner of the premises upon which the nudist society will be located, and the name of the operator, the occupation of the owner or operator, the reason for forming the society.
Wait a
and
minute,
its
isn't the occupation kind of obvious? Runs nudist colony. Like,
Right. Well, and it says and its purpose. So, like, I guess you could have a nudist colony where the purpose is raising funds for African charities or something. I don't know. The location of the area of the proposed nudist society and a description of the physical facilities and precautions to be taken, which will assure privacy of members and concealment and reasonable isolation of the nudists from the public.
Reasonable isolation of nudists.
Yes, reasonable.
Define reasonable.
Dude, 20-foot tall privacy fence.
But what if they need to go to the grocery store?
Demilitarized zone.
Is there a DMZ?
There should be.
I mean, is this like the village where there's like a giant
Oh,
wall
yeah.
and then, there's people to keep them in and...
Yeah. It's like an episode of Lost. It's like isolated.
Yeah,
completely.
I was never able to get into that show. It
was
Jason,
just a weird
Jason
one.
watched it. You watched it, didn't
It
you?
was just a weird one. And
Oh.
it just kind of got weirder and weirder until it was too weird and a lot of people just fell off.
I think the problem with how they wrote Lost is like it would be really cool if we put a smoke monster in it, and then like 3 episodes later they would explain the smoke monster, but they wrote the weird stuff and then had to write an explanation for it, so
Instead of just leaving it.
so they never could explain all of the weird stuff that they've been acting like they were going to explain later.
Well, but they also had, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, they fell victim to that writer's strike, didn't they?
Yeah, for like one season, but they just cut the season short.
Yeah,
Some
but
of this stuff.
isn't that where they lost a lot?
No.
of
The original writers were maybe, but like the original writers were like always the writers with the addition and subtraction of a few. They didn't lose any because of the writer's strike. They just stopped writing new episodes. They just stopped putting it out.
Oh no, Jess is back.
Put your clothes on, boys.
Our raccoons are not nocturnal, just so you know.
Well, of course not. Our
Wait,
raccoons
you
are
found the
24
raccoon?
hours.
Our raccoons out there eating the cat food right now.
The cat food.
Not the cat poo.
Get
We-
the
you want me to go
raccoon
get it?
food, Bubba.
No, I don't want you to go shoot a raccoon in the front of my house, in front of my children. What's the matter with you?
Well, you want me to let your children shoot it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously what I meant.
Oh.
Yeah. No,
Uh-oh.
he'll get it. Don't worry
Jazz
about it.
has a look. What's wrong?
Nothing.
She had a look.
I was just looking at the
What
stuff,
What are you looking at?
the words, so I knew where to talk into.
What words? Where?
No, the words, so I knew where to talk into.
There's words on.
Right there.
There's
For the love of Jesus, I've told you this so many times, dude.
What?
Those are very sensitive microphones. You have to aim them at your mouth.
Directional.
Have I not had
microphones.
aimed at me?
I don't know. You just talk so loud. I don't think that matters.
Jazz,
Yeah, probably not.
We've been discussing nudist
Nudists.
laws in Kentucky.
Oh,
and,
okay.
We were talking about all getting naked before you came back in, but Jason vetoed it.
It's probably for the best.
We tried to get him to take his shirt off, and
Didn't work out for you?
no, he said he'll have to wait until the break.
Mhm.
We wanted to do it on camera, you know. So anyway, so we were talking about reasonable privacy for nudies.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I think our pee wall out here would be sufficient. What are you looking at?
To be taken.
What?
You keep leaning and looking like there's something concerning going on in this area. What is it?
There's a label on the back of the camera. It says C3.
Yeah, that's so we know which camera, when we put it on different scenes, it is.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. What?
C2 is now looking at you.
Hi, C2.
Sorry.
What?
Nothing. No, it's reasonable.
I was looking. I wasn't saying a word about it. I was just looking at it.
But when I'm looking at you and you're over there,
Yeah.
it's no.
Is
go
it
on.
disconcerting?
Yes.
Would you rather I got naked?
That would only make it worse.
Could you please get naked and eat a cheeseburger from Wendy's?
Go get me a cheeseburger from Wendy's.
Are you sure that's something you want to say?
Well, you didn't say I had to do it both at the same time.
Yes, that's part of it.
Well, no, you didn't specify
No,
previously.
no, naked cheeseburger eating is my fetish.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a discussion later.
Could you please continue, Kyle,
Bubba,
before
Bubba, you
cancel
might
this
want to
show.
leave.
It just got a little adult.
Let's see here. Precautions to be taken which will assure privacy of members and concealment, reasonable isolation, etc. If the county judge or executive finds that the character of the applicant is good.
How you gonna find that with a nudist? Like, I feel like being a nudist is like a big strike against your character.
I feel like you would probably have your like young beautiful wife do the application, and then he's like, all right, you know.
But you know, I gotta do monthly inspections as the
Yeah.
county judge. I
Make sure you're there.
I gotta stop by and speak to everyone, make sure everything's okay.
Yep.
Check out the boobs. I mean the fences.
Meet the boundaries of the facility. If the county judge executive finds that the character of the applicant is good, the nudist society is proposed to be conducted for religious health purposes. Let's see. I kind of say the same things twice, so I got.
Well, it is Kentucky.
Yeah, right.
You gotta say some things twice to get it through those people's
Oh,
heads.
this is in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go figure.
The only way it'd be worse if it was in Mississippi, Alabama, or Arkansas.
Okay, here we
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Alright, so they're checking to see that the nudist society is proposed to be conducted for religious health purposes, appear to be adequate, so that it would be located or screened or housed, and so operated as to give reasonable assurance that its activities will be effectively concealed and its members reasonably isolated from the ordinary view and presence of the general public, county judge executive shall issue the license upon payment of a fee of $100.
Wait,
That's all?
It only takes $100 to open a nudie
That's
colony.
all?
$100 US.
Why haven't we opened a nudie colony?
I mean, that's a moneymaker.
I'm telling you,
Is
dude.
it though? Is it? Like, you got to pay the women to come. Like, so their membership's free. You charge the dudes like $500.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
No.
No, it's like girls' night. It's like girls are free after a certain
Yeah.
point because they need the women to come.
Yeah, you got to have like good-looking women.
But you could have like a bed and breakfast nudie colony, and people will go there as a tourist thing.
I think part of the rules of going to a nudist colony, which I've never been. I'm a wild
So
and
you
crazy
say.
guy, but I've never been to an actual.
You've never been to an actual nudie
Not
colony?
to an actual
You of
nudist
all
colony.
If there was anyone in this room that I would say had probably been the one,
I
I would
agree.
say it was you.
I agree. You're not wrong.
What about just
Okay.
a nudist beach?
No.
So you're saying
It's the same thing.
you've never been the one because you have not been presented with the opportunity, or because you have not had a desire to go.
I guess it's mostly the opportunity. I would probably go. But what I'm saying, though, is I feel like there's a rule in most of them that you can't, like, be the dude in the clothes. Like, when you show up.
Well, yeah, you
like,
show
you
up,
gotta,
it's like strip it on down.
Yeah, you gotta.
It's like a, yeah.
But the problem with that is everybody's got to be naked, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Well,
because everybody's got to be naked, but everybody's got to be naked.
and it ain't just hot people. They're wandering
I would
around
say
naked.
there's no hot people there. I'd be willing to bet you at any nudist colony there's like no hot people.
So
Okay.
it's Bob and Hugo?
Yeah, just
If-
Bobs and Hugos everywhere.
If anyone is listening has ever been to a nudist colony, seriously, or a nudist beach, I really want to know. I want to know what is the level of attractiveness of the folks that are attending these things.
I mean, I'd say if you find one in like France, you know what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you're going to a nudist colony in Kentucky,
yeah, that
like you know what I'm saying. Like I got a feeling it ain't the Phillies you're looking
KFC.
for.
Yeah, it's
KFC.
So Pawnee is fourth in obesity. What is Kentucky as a state?
I think
what are the-
Kentucky's like.
Where does Kentucky rank
Kentucky's
as
got to be
obesity?
top
I
10.
think it's I think
It's
it's going
gotta
it's
be.
going to be behind Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi.
Can we blame Kentucky Fried Chicken on that?
No, there's other factors. They're top 10 for cancer and stuff, too.
Yeah, no, like
Really?
Yeah.
it's the culture that birthed Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Man, you would think that with the meth usage that there is in Kentucky,
Oh, it's all switched over to
The-
heroin.
and
a
heroin, they
huge
just
problem.
lay around and eat.
Sedentary, man. It's a
They-
huge problem.
Well, didn't you point out in an episode of Out for Delivery that you don't start losing weight on heroin until after you can't afford to buy food?
Pretty much, yeah. It's whenever like you're just buying heroin and heroin only.
Yeah.
Because like when you get high, like you want to eat. Like it's good. Food tastes good. When you're just a little high, like you're not nodding off high, but you're high on heroin, yeah. You eat. Some of the best meals I ever ate in my life, I was high as hell on Percocet.
I never had Percocet.
It's like baby heroin.
But you know that tomato juice supposedly tastes better on an airplane.
And it's got something to do with the pressure, I'm guessing.
Something like that.
I
Something
hate
to do
tomato
with,
juice.
like your taste buds or
Tomato
something.
juice.
I don't know, I like V8. I don't like straight tomato juice.
You like the V8 low sodium or the regular? Have you had both?
Homemade.
Homemade. My wife makes it.
Okay, then it's not V8. V8's a brand name.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
you
she
meant-
she puts the same things into it, but regular V8 I like. I've never had the low sodium version.
It's a lot better for you.
Well,
lot
have you
better for
seen
you.
my sodium intake?
Well, so the nice thing about V8 is that all the things in there have a lot of potassium as well, and so the potassium will actually balance out the sodium. But if you get the low sodium version, you will actually have a surplus of potassium in your body, which is really, really good for you.
Huh. Surplus of potassium.
Yes.
Huh.
Little Rhode Island up there.
Okay, so Jazz has put on the screen.
This is children ages 10 to 17. I don't think this is an accurate
but
representation
still-
of fatness.
Yeah, if it's 10 to 17, after you're 17, you really think something's going to change with you?
Well, no, but I feel like more people are going to be getting fatter.
I don't know.
That's my
I lost a
point.
lot of weight at 18, but that was because I was in the Army, and then I gained it all back and then some. But West Virginia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
West
North
Virginia.
Dakota. And Rhode Island.
Almost heaven.
Wow. So it looks like, is that Utah, like, by themselves down?
Yeah,
at 10 to
go
14 one night?
Utah.
Wow. Is that now not to be
The Mormon religion doesn't allow you to eat.
well? I know that the Mormon religion though does have some certain dietary restrictions, and I don't
Caffeine's the only thing I know.
know.
Can't smoke. They can't drink caffeine.
If there's any Mormons listening, let us know why Utah would be like the
Or don't.
lowest obesity.
Or don't, because I helped build a Mormon temple when I was working as an electrician. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. I never want to see those people again.
I don't know, some of the nicest people I've ever met and known have been Mormons.
Not my experience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not my experience at
What do
all.
they mean? Did they give you the book?
Nasty people. Nasty.
Really?
Nasty.
Are you sure you weren't working with
Hateful people.
Scientologists?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very sure. They're both a cult, and they stole our stuff.
Whose stuff?
Our stuff.
Ours?
Our stuff.
Ours?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I'll tell you after the show what
Yeah,
all
we
they stole from us.
got to talk after the show
He
on
was
that.
he was a Mason.
I know that. I know
Mhm.
that, and before he could say the thing, he got killed so that he wouldn't say the thing. Or something.
No. I don't know what you're...
I don't know. All I know is about what I've read in Sherlock Holmes
no.
about the Mormons.
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. Slay
Yeah.
and Scarlet. You should read it. It's a good book.
He basically stole, like, all of our stuff and then made it his thing. And then banned them from joining our thing so they wouldn't figure it out.
Was that before or after he found the golden plates?
Oh, you think... Oh, so you believe that. Okay.
What?
No. It would have been after.
He said he found the golden plates.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
he did. Yeah,
If
of
he
course
was a brother,
he
I'd take him for his word. Right? No? I'm confused.
No, he stopped paying dues.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was not expelled, but he was
I don't know,
not in good standing.
How did we get on the Mormonism? We're
Utah.
talking about nudies.
Back to the nudist colony.
Utah and nudist colonies.
Back to the nudist
Kentucky
colonies.
nudist colonies.
So we talked about
Nude Kentucky.
We talked about how to get a license. It's $100, right?
Which seems outrageously cheap to me.
Each license to operate a nudist society shall expire 1 year from issuance.
So it's $100 a year.
It may be renewed annually upon payment of a renewal fee of $50.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait. So renewals are only $50?
$50 renewal.
Does it say anything about like it having to be reassessed, like
No.
reissued? So it's like an auto renewal, like my subscription to Netflix.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I think you got to show up and pay it.
I think you gotta show up and pay it.
Oh, I can't just have them auto debited out of my checking
I don't think
account?
I don't
so.
think so.
Well, that kind of sucks.
All right. here
That's
we
how
go.
I finally canceled CBS All Access. Is I just changed my credit card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no other way to cancel it. I don't think.
Really? Why did you get CBS All Access?
The ball games for my mom.
Oh, I figured you wanted to watch that Star Trek thing.
I don't watch Star Trek.
Why not?
What?
I don't like it.
You don't like the new
What?
Star Trek movies?
Never seen them.
See, I actually enjoy them. If you'd like to borrow them, I've got a couple of them on DVD.
No, thank you.
Blu-ray.
They're not bad.
No, thank you.
They're enjoyable.
No, thank you.
Section 3.
No, thank you.
Grounds for revocation of license.
Don't take away
Ooh.
my nudie license.
Would
If
that
it
be
becomes a
Star
swingers
Trek?
club instead of a nudist colony, I got a feeling it's gonna be one of them.
A license to
It's
operate.
a fine line.
Fine line. Yeah, I guess. A license to operate a nudist society may be revoked by order of the county judge or executive at any time, following a hearing upon reasonable notice to the licensee and a finding by the county judge or executive that 1. The activities of the nudist society are not being effectively concealed from the view of the public, or 2.
fair. It's
The
fair.
activities of the nudist society are not sufficiently isolated from the public, or sufficient precautions are not being taken to exclude the presence of non-members. Oh, so you have to be like a member.
So, like, this is probably like one of those bars that used to be popular back when they first started outlawing smoking in
Where you
nightclubs.
pay like the membership. to
Yeah,
be
it
able
was
to
a
go
private club, and you would pay a $5 fee, and they would stamp your hand. Here's your membership card, and
You
then
can
you
go
could
smoke
smoke
in
in
the
there.
bar.
Yeah, and then you could smoke in there.
So this is saying that the nudie colony, you have to pay membership fees in order to be able to like.
Gotta be a member
You
of
have
the
to be like a
society.
registered member. You can't just show up.
Wow. So
But they'll
actually-
probably register you if you show up. It's probably same day
Probably.
registration.
Yeah, probably.
They don't do like a background check or.
I
No,
can't.
they just
you
check
know,
for all the
I
tattoos
can't.
you have and
I
see
can't
if
go
they're
into
allowed.
the stuff I know.
Okay, but well,
Like I know stuff, but I can't go into
Okay,
it.
so I know that back in the day when the whole nudist colony movement was popular, they had kids living at these nudie colonies being nude the whole time.
Yeah, that was a thing.
And, like, is that still... I want to know, any nudists out there who are listening, I want to know, is that still a thing? Because that concerns me if you're having kids there and there's people that just come in, hey, look, same-day registration, and then, like, they could be a pedophile.
I would say that would
a beta tester.
I would say that would depend on the nudist colony. Like, there are some people where it is like their religion or whatever, and then there are some people that it's just a slippery slope into swinging. Like, I would say it depends on the nudist colony. Like, it was a way of life for some people. Like, it wasn't sexual. Like, and in America, until recently, nudity wasn't sexuality.
Right.
Until here recently.
Well, there's a lot of countries where nudity is entirely divorced from sexuality. I mean, look in Europe, there's billboards that have boobs.
Yeah, but those are definitely sexual. They're doing it to sell a product.
But it's considered acceptable in the public eye.
Yeah. But I'm saying in America, nudity would have to be sexual to be considered, like pornography, for example, would have to be sexual to be considered
pornography.
Yeah, it wasn't enough that it was just a nude form. It also had to be sexual in some way, shape, or form.
So that's why they can show, like, nude paintings in museums.
Yeah, because they're not sexual. Well, some of them probably are. What is up with the hand sanitizer today? I've never seen you hand sanitize this much in my life.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I think he's just finding new ways to push your buttons.
Like, I don't care. Like,
I'm testing things.
He's got artificial crab stank all over his fingers.
But it's
and he's
fine.
trying to get
I'm
it
just
off.
saying, like, he's like hand sanitizer like 10
Sometimes you
times
like to
today.
have a moist hand.
That will actually
demoisturize.
Yeah, that's gonna dry you up, dude. It's
I know.
alcohol.
That's alcohol. Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
I feel like he's just trying
He
to get
wants
the
to dry
alcohol in
his
the
hand.
crab so that he can eat alcohol.
But he's got beer down there. Why does he need that?
It's extra alcohol.
he's gonna run out of it. He didn't bring enough beer.
I've still got a few more. Down
Number
there.
3 reason for a nudist colony to have its license revoked is
they don't have seat protectors.
No, it's
Improper wiping mechanisms.
It's kinda. It's not being operated in accordance with the purpose for which it was licensed initially.
Wait, so it's
Or-
not being operated as a nudie colony? So, like you said,
No.
slippery slope. to
Yeah,
swingers
slippery
club.
slope in the swingers
It's
club.
more like, yeah, it was a religious thing, but we have evidence that they've been doing other things there.
Okay, so what I want to know on in public bathrooms, they've got those like toilet seat covers, right? The paper toilet seat covers. You pull it out of the thing on the wall.
Yeah.
Bubba, you scratch that one more time, and I'm gonna beat you.
Sounds good.
I'm on recording right now to
So
say
that's-
I will commit child abuse.
So that's what that is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just drop him off the news colony down the road. They'll take care of it.
Yeah, they'll take care of them. Do they have seat covers for like the chairs when the nudists sit down? I mean,
No.
Why?
No.
because there's a bare ass sitting on a dang
Yeah.
chair.
They sit bare ass on everything. That's what they do. It's natural.
I would think they make you carry
Like
a towel
actual,
or
like
something.
actual, like the vast majority of the actual nudists, like the hippies from the '60s who started this whole thing, like thought that's how you were supposed to be. That was the natural way to be. They thought it was healthier to be around nude and walk around barefoot than what it is to put on clothes. It's like Kyle with his immune system. They're like, well, I have an immune system. I'll sit on the dirty chair.
I licked that dirty
I've been
chair.
sitting bare ass this whole time. You don't see me getting sick.
Okay.
I don't even wipe.
Okay.
Like the whole world's covered in feces anyway. Like
well,
you just
that's
have to
true.
stop worrying about
just
it.
Whatever you do, don't lick a dollar bill. Holy crap, don't lick a dollar bill.
A dollar bill?
Have you ever heard about all the nasty things that are on a dollar bill?
Nope.
Just taste it and see what it tastes
I
like.
got
You
as
tell
far
us.
as the C's, which said cocaine, and then I just started licking all the dollar bills I could find. I figured if I licked like $150 bills, I might get a little high.
Yeah, and you'll probably have some
Black
weird
Plague.
diseases. Yeah. I don't know.
Small price to pay.
Okay, so if we are no longer operating as a nudie colony,
right,
and they catch us not operating as a nudie colony,
What are they going to do, send in a secret shopper nudist? Where's
No,
he going
they
to hide the camera?
Just take away your license, I guess.
I mean, how are they going to find out?
Don't know.
Well, it's like those prostitute stings that the cops do, where
Right.
You know
They spend $2,500 over the course of 6 months on this one girl, and
yes.
then take it all back from, oh, turns out I was a cop all along. Ha ha. You provided me service 8 times. I have evidence. Give me back my
Fooled
money.
So, Reason number 4 to revoke a license is the owner or operator has been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor involving disorder or breach of the peace arising out of the operation of the nudist society.
So it has to be a felony or other conviction that is directly related to the operation of the nudie camp.
Yep. It's pretty reasonable, I guess.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre that it's
Why
so
does Kentucky?
affordable.
Yeah, why does Kentucky have like reasonable nudist laws?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think of all states. I mean, not the stereotype, but I think of all states, Kentucky would be one of the less tolerant of nudie columns.
It'd be like Iran with gay people. Nope, no nudist here. Nope.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Is it possible that Kentucky is much more progressive than anyone actually thinks?
I doubt it.
No, not possible.
No, you don't think so?
Have you heard anything from their governor lately?
So I think what
Well,
it is it's super
you know.
conservative, and these were put on the books like 60 years ago, and they just haven't bothered to change any of it. That's what I think.
They got bigger fish to fry.
Because they're so conservative, why change the old laws?
Well,
I mean,
they the
Trump's on the phone with the Kentucky governor like every other week. Hey man, calm down. You're being too crazy.
Well, aren't they the ones that are trying to screw over their teachers?
They're one of them. There's many states that are doing that
that's
right
true.
now.
Yeah, trying to save money.
Yeah.
That's not another one of those pre-funding bullshit things, is it?
No, I don't want to talk about pre-funding because we'll argue.
Well,
You don't believe in union. You don't believe in public service.
I've never said I don't believe in any of that. And I agree
so
that
we'll just
pre-funding
argue.
is a stupid thing to do.
I don't think it is. I think it's reasonable to pre-fund my retirement,
But not to the extent that they're
not
doing it.
not to the tune of 70 years in the future.
But if we're talking pre-funding as far as, hey, let's make sure we can afford the people we're hiring, and we can afford to give them the shit we promised them.
Yes.
Well, that's 100% reasonable.
The problem is the post office pre-funding goes into the federal retirement system, which also includes the ATF, who's not doing it, the FBI, who's not doing it, and a bunch of other
So
government
why is the
agencies who
post
aren't doing
office
it.
the only ones who have to pre-fund?
Because it's where the money is. Because we actually make money. If you took away pre-funding, we would be running a $5 million surplus every year.
Welcome to the
Nudist
USPS.
travel, places to go in America.
But there's none in Kentucky. Like, that's crazy.
That's really weird.
There's none in Kentucky, but
Maybe
we have
that's
like
why
lax
it's so
laws.
cheap. That's why it's so cheap.
We're trying to attract nudists.
Yeah, let's bring in the nudists.
Well,
go to Kentucky. Start
Look
a
at all the
nudist
ones
colony.
up there in Wisconsin and down in Florida.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Well, Florida's warm. You can walk around nude all year. That's why there's so many in Florida, guys.
But Wisconsin?
They probably got a bunch of those like space heaters, those torches.
Texas would not be appealing, nor would New Mexico.
This
Man,
one
it's
said
swampy.
2018.
Wow, look at the ones
And
up
this
in
is-
Maine. Of course, I guess they're probably out in the middle of the woods.
This is the best nudist resorts and campgrounds.
There's one in Utah. 2 in Utah.
4?
Mm.
4
How
in Utah.
bizarre.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
You know, I would really think that there would be some in Nevada, honestly. I'm surprised.
Nevada's a weird state
Nevada.
once you get outside of
really
Las
is.
Vegas. They're very uptight
There's
once you
3
get out
in-
of Las Vegas.
There's 3 in there.
It's
So
Nevada.
down here by the
Nevada.
Nevada.
Like used to, you would get 20 years for like a joint in Nevada.
I'm honestly surprised that the number in Texas. That
Texas is kind of liberal, man. Look how many's right around Austin. Austin is like
yeah, Austin and Houston.
It's
It looks like
crazy
that's like the,
liberal.
the nudie mecca.
Mississippi.
Nashville.
the ones right around New Orleans does not surprise me at all. Like
Oh,
I've been
God,
to New
no.
Orleans. Like Bourbon Street is half a nudist colony.
Actually, those don't look like they're New Orleans. Those look more like
They're-
Gulfport.
No, those are
that's
New
where
Orleans.
Kevin. That's where Coke guy lives.
Oh, that explains a lot with those pictures we get in Slack all
that
the time.
really. Oh my God, that one with the pretzel.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know, dude. Holy
It's
crap!
weird, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, oh God.
But look
You
at
see it?
Kentucky. There's none in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it's the cheapest place.
I mean, $100 for the first year, and then $50 each additional year.
It's a bargain.
I mean, heck, I'm tempted to start a nudie colony.
I bet you won't.
Well, I won't, but I was tempted to
Mhm.
for a moment.
I bet you won't though.
I won't.
You want to know how I know you won't?
Why?
Because Amber will laugh at you and then just go no.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so.
Yeah,
She
might.
won't let you.
You never
do it.
know, dude. She might be down for it, and she's been keeping it a secret this whole time.
Nah, she's not down to clown like that.
Down to clown.
Down to clown.
Down to clown. That's a band name that we just came up with. They're like a clown punk rock.
That sounds like an ICP reference right there.
Probably is. It's probably where I pulled that one out
they're
of.
like clown.
Down with the clown.
Maybe.
Down 2 clown. But it's like a number 2. Like Jungle 2 Jungle. With
Backwards 2. It's a backwards 2.
All right, last part of the law. Operating society without a license penalties. Any person who owns or operates a nudist society, whether for religious or health purposes, without a valid license, shall be fined not less than $500 or more. Nor more than $1,000. So between $500 and $1,000.
Like if they bust me running a nudist colony, like the most I'm out of pocket's
bad.
$1,000.
Yeah, it's
okay,
not that bad.
so I want to know what defines a nudist colony, because if I were to fence off my property...
It was in the first part of the law.
But if I fence off my property and wander around on my property nude, is that considered a nudist colony?
Are you doing it in front of people other than your wife or your doctor?
Well, if it's my property, it's probably my kids will be there.
So yes.
Of course, they'll be scared. They'll probably run away.
I would not blame them.
I wouldn't either.
You're gonna get a call from Bubba. My dad's
out here riding the lawnmower naked. I know it's hot, but this is uncomfortable.
It's making it worse.
Worst part is I gotta drive that lawnmower tomorrow. It's all gonna be swampy. Mom's normally the voice of reason on this, but she's out of town this weekend.
She's the only one here that would make it an actual nudist colony, an actual safe, like...
Oh, God. So, even the fines don't seem unreasonable. I mean, that's... I'm really amazed by this.
Yeah, it's
so,
on the
like,
books right now.
I have a question. Like,
They
if you're
really
in an
want some
actual,
colonies.
like, nudist colony who are nudists because they believe it's healthier, and you get a random occurrence that sometimes happens to teenage boys, is that like a party foul?
I don't know.
Are you speaking of the No Reason Boner? The
Yeah,
NRB?
exactly. Yeah.
The NRB.
Like, is that a party foul? Like, do you have to go hide out somewhere and you can talk it down, or what?
No,
I
you just
don't
grab
know.
a leaf. You just grab a leaf.
Or are you
and-
forced to carry around, like, a magazine or something to cover it up with? Or
A taffy man?
Where do you put your wallet? Like,
Well, if you're in nudist high school, that'd be horrible.
yeah, I mean, like,
Oh my
constantly,
God,
for no
yeah.
reason.
It'd be horrible. And the teacher's
And then
just
you're-
like,
and then you're
well,
embarrassed.
folks, we got Andy here, you know?
And then you're embarrassed and your voice cracks while you're trying to explain it. I mean,
or
oh my God.
like, everybody's just so used to it because it just happens so
It's
much.
just normal.
Right.
It's like the teacher looks up and it's half the class. She's just completely, like, oblivious to it.
Yeah, just
The entire
keeps
class.
going. Help! They just hire nothing but nearsighted teachers.
I just think she'd just get used to it. She's like, whatever.
She makes a lesson out of it.
It's half these little monsters.
Yep. You're all sick. Go to recess.
I knew
take
what
a
I was.
walk.
I knew what I was getting into when I signed up for the nudist middle school.
They just they have a break for gym class and they all jump in the cold lake or whatever.
Yeah.
There. Take that. Now back to class.
I don't know if you remember being 13, 14, but that wasn't even a help some days.
Some days, like the entire day,
Well,
24
like,
hours straight.
not 24 hours, but I remember there was like 5-6 hours at a time where I'm like, when is this gonna stop? Is this the rest of my life? Go away!
The worst part is when
I have to pee.
you're like, it's either at school or worst thing for me personally was like, it's like 8 o'clock church in the morning and you're like, oh God, right now.
Oh, you're going
right
to hell
now,
for that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Jesus.
Jesus sees this.
And if you're at one of those churches that you have to stand up.
No, it's horrible.
Oh, wait, you're a Catholic. You do have to stand up.
Yes.
They're constant.
Do you not hear the pitch of his voice every time you say
It's
something?
like the waves constantly moving through a Catholic church. It's up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Horrible.
The last time I went to a Catholic service, and it has nothing to do with boners, but the last time I went to a Catholic
good.
service, I didn't know what that kneeler butter thing was.
Yeah.
Well, they flipped it down and knelt on it on top of my foot,
Oh, nice.
and the whole row was on top of it, and I couldn't get them to stand up until they did their natural whatever the hell it is. So I won't go back to a
You
Catholic
should
church
just
anymore.
ask, dude. It's not.
Yeah. Excuse me, you're
They
on
couldn't
my
tell
foot.
by me flailing around in pain evidently.
Did you say anything?
What the hell? What kind of church
Yeah.
did you go to?
Did you say, excuse me, you guys are on my foot, can you pop up?
No, it was
my
more like,
foot?"
holy shit, that really fucking hurts. And then they looked at me like I was sacrilegious or something. I don't know what the other problem was. But, you know.
Maybe they figured you like needed that to atone for your sins,
Yeah, well.
which I can understand.
What is the thought in Catholicism that is atoning for sin through pain? It's like it's frowned upon by mainstream Catholics now, but it's like a thing.
Yeah, self-flagellation kind of thing.
Yeah, like
Flagellation.
but there's like
Not
a
flagellation, flagellation. You goddamn.
but there's a word for it, and like throughout all time, like some Catholic priests have gotten in trouble
not
for like
stigmata.
teaching that. No, it's they'll take like the whips and like hit
I
themselves.
think it's
with-
self-flagellation.
Yeah,
That's what that particular act's called, but there's like a whole school of thought that you atone for your
Well,
sin
you have to
through
go to school
different
to
types
learn
of
how to
pain.
self-flagellate?
You're not allowed to drink on this show no more, or
What?
bring food. I don't know which one's the problem, but you're not allowed to bring
It's the
food
hand sanitizer.
or wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
Well, I don't know. Kyle, were you done with everything at Kentucky regarding nudists?
That's it.
All right.
I came in at a very weird point.
You did.
The whole thing was weird.
It got weird. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell anybody you want to. Visit us on eldoradostudio.net, not .com. Shoot us an email at ingersollawpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.
Twitch will be back in like 5-6 minutes.
Self-flagellation.
5 to 10
Make it
minutes, probably.
self-flagellation.
The Kmart Sports Center is your headquarters for hunting. We carry Remington, Winchester, Mossberg, and Marlin shotguns and rifles, with a wide assortment of soft and hard-side gun cases. Be dressed with black sheep boot socks, camouflage vest, pants, and hats. When you think of hunting, remember the Kmart Sports Center for quality merchandise and everyday low prices.
From the leading manufacturer of video game hits comes the #1 video game system, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
When you get hold of the Nintendo Entertainment System, when you master Rob, the video robot, and meet the talent of Gyromite, when you shoot the light-blinking Zapper, when you play the system with the most arcade hits, you're playing with power. The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
There really is a Kentucky Fried Chicken school.
Yep, today we're making the Colonel's original recipe.
What did you learn?
Fresh chicken makes the best chicken.
And that we use 11 herbs and spices.
Oh, but that's the Colonel's secret. And special pressure cooking.
So it's always tender and juicy.
Looks like you've learned to make great chicken.
Only way to serve our customers right.
What's in this little blue egg that keeps Barbara Eden looking slim and trim?
Ooh, there's only one answer to that. It's Legs Control Soft Pantyhose. See, Legs slims and trims but doesn't bind. So you get comfort and control.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. Will security please report to Section 3? Security to Section 3, please.
Get a little closer. Now don't be shy. You can get a little closer with Arid Extra Dry.
Only Arid has a patent on this formula that fights wetness. No leading deodorant spray stops odor better. And now Arid has a new baby fresh scent. It smells,
Get a little closer with the baby fresh scent of Arid Extra Dry.
Arid fights wetness and odor. Now in a new baby fresh scent.
Hello, shoppers. Visit our shoe department for the quality you need, the prices you want, and the brand names you trust. For hunting, hiking, working, everything, look for the great values on men's outdoor boots from Texas Steer and Northwest Territory. You'll also find first-quality national name brand athletic footwear. Shoes from names like Pony, Jordache, Nautilus, Spalding, McGregor, and more. Whatever the activity or sport, you'll find the quality, brand, and the price you want at Kmart, the savings place. Have you ever noticed that big jobs leave even bigger messes? We have. That's why we carry a variety of Hoover vacuum cleaners. Martha Stewart, our entertainment and lifestyle consultant, recommends the lightweight Hoover Elite Upright Cleaner and the cordless Hoover Double Duty Wet and Dry Hand Vac. Hoover, just another one of the great names that's at home with Martha Stewart.
It's an alien. No, Presto's everywhere.
Debonair, and yet fuzzy. My parents just don't understand our relationship. I mean, this whole casting season, all asked for
Al, alien life form new from Coleco.
Even Martha Stewart, our entertainment and lifestyle consultant, looks for ways to cut down on her time in the kitchen. And now, thanks to some of our Presto products, she's found them. The Presto Salad Shooter slices, shreds, and grates all kinds of foods in almost no time. So it's great for making everything from salads to pizza to dessert. And for making all sorts of fried foods, there's nothing better than the Presto Fry Daddy. Presto products. Take a little time to pick one up today and save a lot of time later.
Thursday, The Body Human looks at the facts of life for boys. Join Ken Howard, star of The White Shadow, for a very frank discussion about sexual awakening, about what it means, what it feels like to become a man. This special program is a first for young people and for parents to share. The Body Human, Facts for Boys, Thursday at 4, 3 Central and Pacific.
Mike's live. Anyway, so the uncle I have that.
I didn't do it. That was Kyle. I didn't do it. Sorry, Kyle. I'm ratting you out.
What the hell is that?
That's a commercial. Give us money.
What the hell was that?
Anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That was something.
That was a scurry.
Anyway, I went to a wedding.
We have not stopped the YouTube, though.
Oh, shit, that's still going. Stop.
What scared me is I watch that channel sometimes, and it's on your next recommended play.
I've never watched it before.
It's an okay channel.
Have any of y'all watched the Lock Picking Lawyer?
Yeah.
Channel? I enjoy that one.
It's okay. I like it when he doesn't pick a lock at all and he just takes a pair of 10 snips and cuts through something.
I know, right?
Yeah, this one was easy.
You were saying. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, I had a cousin get married from my uncle who was, super rich. It was, his stepdaughter, so my aunt's daughter. And he paid for her wedding, and it was, $128,000. It was at this, fancy country club in the town they live and everything. They arrived in a fleet of brand new Corvettes and left in a fleet of brand new Corvettes, all of the bridesmaids and what do you call the guys? The best men, groomsmen. There's a whole production thing, multiple locations. They got married at a big church and then they moved over to the country club for the reception and had steak for dinner. There was probably 1,200 people there. They were split up before they got back from the honeymoon.
Holy shit.
They were taking a month and a half honeymoon, but before they got back to America,
they said, no, we're done.
They had split up.
Do you think that has anything to do with where they place their values at?
I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, you could say that.
My cousin, they're super, super wealthy. They shouldn't even be in the family because they're so different than the rest of us. And when he got married, they had this country club they rented out, and they had what do you call where you have 8 violinists and a pianist and all this stuff, a whole string ensemble basically for the wedding. It was all catered. It was crazy. They had special cars for everybody. The bride and groom rode off in Bing Crosby's Bentley.
What?
What?
Yeah, like the Bing Crosby's Bentley.
Did
That's
they
what
have
drove
Bing
off on.
there at the time?
No.
Pistol packing mama.
Yeah, and they're still together, but the after party it was in Nashville. So the after party was.
Do they have
downtown Nashville?
Entertainment 720 coming?
I don't know what that is.
What? It's Entertainment 720.
I don't know what that is.
It's Tom Haverford's Entertainment. Oh, that kind of looks trashy. Yeah. She's the one that went to
Yeah.
Vegas to strip with her mom.
Yeah. We're live.
Oh. They didn't see the picture.
I understand, but
We
we're live.
discussed it in an episode.
Yeah. That was tangentially discussed.
Oh.
We can't directly discuss it.
So they're still together regardless of their outrageously splendiferous. Yeah, because I swear I think
They
Amber
just live
spent-
with different people.
Yeah, well, I swear I think Amber only spent like $80 on her wedding dress, and outside of that, I think we had another $200 wrapped up in the entire wedding.
Ours was, if you count what we paid the preacher, I think ours was like $350, and
Yeah.
that was like all like this 6-foot sandwich from Walmart,
Exactly,
and like the sheet cake, and I think Amy got her wedding dress for $35 at a Goodwill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amber got hers on some like super clearance closeout thing that she just had altered the fit.
Yeah, this one was used. This one's a broken-hearted dream dress that somebody else had. She still got it.
Yeah, but I've got to agree. You've got excellent point. The ones who spend the least stay together the longest.
It just seems, in my opinion. I'm sure there's exceptions to that rule, but all the ones I've been to, the more they spend on the wedding, the shorter the marriage.
That would be really interesting. Social study, I guess. Something to really research into.
Correlation.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I think people that have like these huge weddings oftentimes like also have this fairy tale ideal of what marriage is.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And marriage is like dirty, filthy compromise. It's like half war, half politics. Like you've gotta
you pick your battles.
Yeah.
Next
Oh yeah.
episode on Game of Thrones. It's a fucking game of Risk. Damn it.
Yeah. It totally is. It's like, okay, I'm not getting what I want right now. So
But I'm going to wait because I'll get what I want later.
Yeah, like, and like the other person has to be like, yeah, he's not getting what he wants right now, but I'll give him what he wants later, I guess. Like, it has to be like this. It's not a fairy tale. Like, it's not fun a lot of the times.
Well, agreed.
I mean, it's worth it most of the time. Like, I'm not trying to talk about getting married.
But what it boils down to, though, is you have to have realistic expectations of what it is.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fairy tale for the rest of your life.
You hear
Like, that doesn't
Kyle?
exist.
It's not a fairy tale.
And people that have these huge extravagant weddings expect it to be a fairy tale.
Right.
And then it's not, and then like, fuck it, I quit.
Yeah, the wedding I went to was like, I think $100,000, and I think by the end of the reception, she wasn't sure that she had made the right choice.
Whoa.
It was really bad.
That's a quick turnaround.
It was a really quick turnaround.
And how long had they been together prior to that?
Like 7 years?
Whoa!
You should know by now.
Yeah.
You should have a pretty good idea.
You
She
should
followed
know.
what she was told to do by her father. So
Oh. Well, he probably told her to shit or get off the pot.
he also paid for most of the wedding.
Duh.
Well, serves him right.
All right, should we get this?
Let's
sucker
talk
cracked
about
on?
some laws.
Okay, I should probably do an intro, right?
Do the intro, Russ.
Well, I've got to hit record as well.
Yeah, he needs to
You hit
record.
record first, Jason.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Ignorance of the Law. I'm Russ.
And I'm Kyle.
I'm Jazz.
Jason!
Holy crap, he said his own name. My God!
I just wanted to move it along. I see that I've made a mistake.
Bubba.
Bubba.
It's not nearly as fun when you preempt it as when he does. I mean, he never says his own name. Last time we had him say his own name, it was like, Jason.
Okay, fine. So, hey guys, you can find me on Xbox Live at After Lodge Jason. You can find me on Instagram at After Lodge Jason. You can find me at Twitter on, guess what, After Lodge Jason. I also have a Facebook account under the name After Lodge/Jason. However, I'm never on Facebook. You're never going to reach me on Facebook. Like, I check it like every 6 months. But if you follow me on Instagram or message me on Xbox Live or on the Twitters, normally I see those and will respond to you.
What's your Snapchat?
JW Run is the Snapchat.
What about Venmo?
Don't have a Venmo.
Why not?
Just don't.
We
I don't
could
know. What
probably
do you
get
want?
some people to Venmo you
I
some
don't want
money.
to. I don't handle the money here.
You don't send out nudes for Venmo?
No, I send out nudes for free and accept tips.
You do?
Accept tips.
Wait,
like,
is that how your nudist colony's going to start?
Yes.
no more than 10 minutes ago, I was trying to get you to take your shirt off, and you wouldn't even do that.
Not for free.
You just said you sent out nudes for free.
One-on-one. It's about the personal relationship. I gotta build you up for the nude.
Well, while I'm trying to, recover from my broken heart, Kyle, what you got?
Well, I want to start with a question. What is the oldest law that you all are aware of? Aside, I guess we...
From the one we covered 2
we had
episodes
a
ago?
recent episode where we talked about an old law. What about before that? Anything?
So, like, before I showed up today, what would be the oldest law I knew of?
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill.
How old is that?
I would say that
That's
goes
a
back to the
biblical
code.
thing.
Well, I would say it goes back earlier than that. I would say
it's a biblical thing, but
I would say the Code of Hammurabi.
There you go. That's old. How old is that? Do you know?
That was in the first civilization of Babylon.
Yeah.
So
We're talking about like 1700 BC.
Yeah.
So that's the
almost
code
2,000 years before Bejeebus.
And that's Hammurabi. Does anybody know anything older than Hammurabi? Hammurabi was the first thing that came to my mind because that's what we were taught in, school.
I would say there would be local things, but they probably weren't written.
Right.
They were probably like, ask the lawmaster, and he would say, thou shalt not X, Y, Z. And then he would teach the new guy, all right, so thou shalt not, and he would repeat after him. But I think Code of Hammurabi was the first, written laws we had.
So Hammurabi was 500 years before the Ten Commandments. So that gives you an idea of what we're talking about here. The oldest codified law comes from the Code of Ur-Nammu from Sumeria.
That makes sense.
Ur-Nammu was a Sumerian king who decided he wanted to write down his laws in the year 2100 BC.
Makes sense.
We're going to talk about those laws.
That was the very first civilization on Earth?
It was.
So what do you give me that look for?
Why does Russ look so unenthused?
The reason these laws are important...
I'm thinking about Ham.
Hammurabi.
What is the penalty for robbing Ham? Asking for a friend.
Sorry you had me at Ham.
The ham penalty. Can we get some ham on the set?
Ham!
Somebody get the ham?
Here's my goddamn ham smoothie.
Yeah.
Our intern's off on Saturdays.
Yeah. So these laws are important because they are arranged in a casuistic form, which means that they have a if-then order.
Thank you for defining that, because I didn't know what
I didn't know what that meant either.
Ooh, these laws are written in QBasic.
Yeah. If-then. So
go to line 100.
Let's look at some of these.
Can you read the if and we guess the then?
The what?
Can you guess?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll read the if, and then you all guess the punishment. This writes itself. Good job, Bubba.
What?
Why
He's
are
just
you being
messing
so
with you.
Weird?
He's just messing with you.
Newer.
Yes. These are the cheapest mic stands Amazon
He said
sells.
Hammurabi.
You said ham, and then it says newer.
That is not the first time he has looked at that mic stand and
ham.
then looked to see if you watched.
All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of these laws.
Don't call me out on that, Jazz. I'm trying to see what gets him.
Oh, he was been doing it the whole time.
I know.
Let's talk about these old laws.
Do you want to talk about these old laws?
Let's talk about these old
Okay,
laws.
so how are we going to do this? You're going to say the if and we guess the then?
If a man commits murder,
then his blood shall be spilt upon the sacrificing stones.
Then he shall be murdered.
Then that man must also be must be killed.
But but killed by who? Because technically, killing is murder, and therefore that
by the high priest of
vicious
Zulu.
cycle. So if I kill you, then he has to kill me, and then he has to kill him, and then she has to kill him.
No, I
and
think.
It just
what if you
goes
murder
on.
yourself?
Well, then the room is
it's
empty
not-
and no one knows what I did.
It's not committing murder the second time. It's only murder the first time. Once you're guilty of
So
that,
if I
you're
kill
killed.
2 people, it's not murder the second time?
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you killed Jason, we all have to put you to death. but that's not murder.
It's not murder if you kill me, but if I kill him, it's murder?
You're committing a crime by killing poor Jason. He didn't ask for it. You done asked for it, son. Your punishment, according to this law, is to be killed.
It's not murder. It's not murder when the government does it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Haven't you learned that? That's still on the books today. Anyway.
It's worded exactly like that.
Yeah.
It's above the halls of Congress.
Right.
It's not murder if the government does it.
Yeah.
Some people just need killing.
Oh, that's true.
If a man commits a robbery,
he shall be robbed.
No.
Hand.
He shall be put
Hand.
to death.
Left hand, then right hand.
Then you should steal his stuff.
Nope.
Then his blood shall be shed upon the sacrificing stones to Zulu.
Yes. If a man commits a robbery, he will also be killed.
Wow. So
Yep.
any robbery.
Yep. Unless it's a person. If a man commits a kidnapping,
He shall be doubly
You kill the person he kidnapped.
Then his blood shall be shed upon the stones.
His hand shall be cut off.
No, he's going to be imprisoned and pay 15 shekels.
How much is a shekel?
What's a shekel to dollar
give me a
ratio?
second, let me tell you here.
I want the translation.
What's the turtles to copper ratio on this?
I thought it was leprechauns to unicorns.
The 5 TTP.
1 mina is 1/60th of a talent. So a talent is bigger than a mina. And a mina... Oh, no. Well, hold on. This is so confusing. 1 mina, 1/60th of a talent, is equal to 60 shekels.
So they were operating on a base 60 system.
Yeah.
So a shekel seems like it would be like our 1,000.
In today's society, a shekel is $0.28.
That doesn't seem right.
Wait. So if I kidnap somebody...
There's been multiple countries over the course of
Yeah,
the
there's lots of
years
shekels.
that use
These
the
are
term
old. These
shekel.
are like the original shekels. They're made of silver.
So you're saying it'll cost me 28 cents if I kidnap someone?
I'm thinking it's going to be more like 2.8 thousand.
I'm sure this was a good
Billion.
amount of money. I think if we go through more laws, we'll get relative terms on these
Okay.
things. If a slave marries a slave and that slave is set free, he does not leave the household. Oh, so that's kind of one I don't think.
Wait. Rephrase that.
If a
Rephrase
slave,
it. If a slave marries a slave, like how are you going to rephrase that, Russ?
if a slave marries a slave and that slave is set free, he does not leave the household. So I guess that means they're stuck. So like if they're married, the slaves are stuck together at that point. Does that make sense?
So if you're a slave and I'm a slave,
Yeah,
and
we get married. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you
your
get-
owners.
and
I'm your owner. You two get married. You two get gay married.
Yes.
And I set Kyle free.
I have to stay.
You don't get to leave with him.
I don't get to leave with him.
No, I have to stay.
So
with
I
him.
have.
I still own you.
So I have to stay gay slave.
You still have to be my gay slave.
That sucks.
I think he was just trying to find a way to make you say that. That's all he ever
But I
wanted.
set Kyle, my gay slave, my other gay
free.
slave, out on the street.
If a slave
But
marries,
you got to stay.
I'm going to save the punishment ones for you all to fill in. We'll just read some of the other ones.
Just so you know, Russ, that's why he wouldn't take his shirt off for you, because you belong to him.
You're my property, boy.
If a slave marries a
That
free
gets a little
person-
racist. Hang on, I want to back that up. I'm saying this like in a
In
weird
Sumerian.
consenting adult context, not in like an actual
In a weird
deep south racism.
You're talking a BDSM.
Yeah,
type of thing.
No, I see now what I said could be taken another way. That is not what I meant at all. I apologize for my earlier remarks.
The views of Afterlife Jason do not reflect the views of Eldorado Studio or Ignorance of the Law podcast.
I'm just gonna let him finish.
Come on, Kyle, save us.
If a slave marries a free person, okay. If a
The free person becomes a slave.
Wait,
If a slave marries a free person, oh, okay.
that's
He
very
or she-
progressive if they're allowing slaves to marry free people.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
always been a
But-
thing.
but
That's how
here's
you
the
get
thing.
more property.
This is the not progressive part. He or she is to hand over their firstborn son to the slave owner.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
But
What if they don't have?
but does the slave become a free person then?
No.
I don't think so.
Well, because if you can trade your firstborn kid to for your freedom, I mean,
okay, you're looking at
that
this
might
like
be worth
people, but you're looking at this like people. You need to look at it like livestock, because that's how they viewed it. So if you had 2 cows and your neighbor, his bull jumped the fence and mated with your cow, and then went back over to your neighbor's house, like you're gonna feel like you have ownership of the offspring in that situation.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Because they don't look at people like people, because we've always been animals. They look at it as property.
Okay.
Here's the next one. If a man violates the right of another and deflowers his virgin wife,
he shall be de-virgined upon the stones of Zulu.
By the gay slave?
His butt virginity will be forfeit.
This is before that concept existed.
Before the loophole?
Yeah.
I'm saying he is, and my real answer is he's fined an outrageous sum of money to give to the father, because women were also
2 shekels.
Women were also property.
Anybody else?
And it lowered their value for the dowry.
I hate to have to agree with Jason, but I
Reread
think
the first
he's
part.
right.
If a man violates the right of another and deflowers his virgin wife.
Okay.
So
Which,
it's
what are you
like-
waiting on? Like,
it's
my question is, like, what are you waiting on? It's your wife. Why is she still a virgin?
Why is she still a virgin?
It's like the wedding night, dude. Like,
Like, you
almost
gotta
there.
move. You gotta move fast.
I know.
Where did my wife go? Where, Bobby?
Well, I just slipped and it fell in.
They
Oh, is this her? Oh, you're the one
crap,
from the.
is that your wife?
You're the one from the thing earlier where you're standing in front of all the people. Oh, sorry about that.
I didn't recognize you.
They shall kill the man. That's
Oh.
death.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Snap.
you will learn very quickly in these laws, women are not important. They are treated as possessions unless they're a virgin. In which case,
very
kill the
valuable
man.
property.
Kill the man.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, what happens to the woman?
Here we go. If the wife of a man followed after another man and he slept with her, they shall slay the woman, but the male shall be set free, unless she's a virgin, in which case they kill him.
And her?
Probably.
So both be dead.
Yeah,
Well, she's
probably
not a
both.
virgin anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, her resale value is sunk so low.
Yeah.
The second you drive them off the
Yeah.
lot.
Really?
Just, they lose half their value.
So, okay, so
This is
law,
so horrible.
So this law is, if I sleep with someone else's wife, she's murdered. Right? Is that what I'm getting here?
If she sleeps with you.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So, but nothing happens to me.
Yeah,
as
'cause
long
she's the
as
one that
she's
cheated.
as long as she's not a virgin.
Yeah, she's the
What
one.
if what about rape?
We'll probably get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
All right.
Here we go. If a man proceeded by force,
Kyle, can you do this, please?
What?
Thank you.
What?
Just cover your nipples, man. They're pointing.
Oh,
They're distracting me.
it's not appropriate.
Do I
Right?
need
I
to-
can't look at you.
Do I need to run in the house, get you some Band-Aids for your pointing nipples?
I don't know, man, but turn the air conditioner down or something. His nipples are just
I've been
calling to me.
lactating for 2 weeks. Okay.
It's not weird. It happens to gods.
The AC's really cold.
That's good.
That whole side of the table, they are cherry red face. Just
It
so you know.
hurts so bad. Oh my god. Love you, Kyle.
Russ
Can I
has
be
to
your
hold
gay
his
slave?
stomach.
Oh wait, I'm Jason's. I'm sorry.
Sumerian law says no. You belong to Jason now.
JC's trying to take your property.
So you should not take my property. It is my property.
And this
to
property
do with
will
as
not
I
produce
please.
you an offspring.
Isn't that robbery?
Oh,
You shall be sacrificed upon the stones.
how about we give you our first offspring?
Will it be a male child or a female child? Because the value is very different.
I don't think either. Look at who he's going to.
What kind of abominations are you that cannot even produce offspring? You both shall be sacrificed upon the stones.
Do you want
just
some
got
hand sanitizer?
sacrificed.
Blood for the crops. Blood for the crops.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, I'll try not to stare at your nipples.
God.
He made him self-conscious.
If the
They're all broke, Kyle. I'm sorry.
If a man proceeds by force and deflowers a virgin female slave of another man.
Okay.
So even virginity in slaves was pretty important.
Don't rape the virgin slaves. Gotcha.
Yep. How important, though?
I'm saying it's
At
not
least 10
death, but it's a
shekels.
lot of money.
5 shekels.
5
Yeah,
shekels?
that's a lot.
So comparing that before, what was it? 15 shekels was for kidnapping a free person.
Yeah.
So 5 shekels for the virginity
She's a
of
slave. She's
female
property. It's like basically like he snuck across your fence and slept with your cow.
Yeah, but
except it's a pristine, like,
it's the best cow.
Yeah, it's the best cow we got.
It's got like a blue ribbon on its neck from the state fair and everything.
And now it only gives sour milk. Okay, I have to take an aside. You've all seen the original Conan the Barbarian, right?
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Okay, at the beginning, when he's walking through town, in the background, there is a dude humping a llama.
That sounds totally like that movie.
I swear to
That
God.
movie is so weird.
And every
and
time I see that
crazy.
movie now, and even the edited for
Do
TV
you
version,
rewind-
they show the dude.
You rewind it and
humping
watch
the
it
llama.
over and over again, Russ? Is that what you do?
He's got one of
Well,
those
of
A/B
course.
players. He just sets the A and B point, so it just loops the llama humping.
I just record that one section, and I just loop it continuously for hours.
Now, do you
It
loop
slowly
it, or
zooms
do you
in.
do you play it forwards and then play it backwards so that it?
Well, it looks the same backwards and forwards.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's
He
it's
just
the
keeps
same
looping
motion.
it, zooming in a little bit on that one part of the scene.
On the
every
face of the
loop.
llama.
Enhance.
Google, please enhance.
Well,
this
it's
llama.
interesting you brought that up because a lot of the Conan like mythology and all that is based on Sumerian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
See, it all ties together.
Yeah.
With humping llamas. And
always.
If a man divorces his first-time wife,
He should be put to death.
No, he's got to pay her a stipend.
how much?
15
2
shekels
shekels.
for rape of a slave. I'm saying 10 shekels if she's a free woman.
I said 2 shekels.
1 shekel.
It's actually 60 shekels. It's one
Wow.
mina.
But it's a one-time payment, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like I
It
have
has
to
to
keep,
last her the rest of her
Yeah,
life.
it's not like alimony where you're paying every month.
Oh man,
It's
she's
one
gonna
time.
OD on heroin, getting all that alimony up front, all that back child support right
Now,
now.
here's the thing. That's a first-time wife. What if it is not a first-time wife?
Oh, first time wife, you're free.
Well, that's
So
120.
You can
if
just
it is
ditch
a
her.
former widow who has been divorced,
You can just ditch her. I would say that it's gonna be like a shekel.
it's half as much, half a mina, so 30
Oh.
shekels.
What if it's your
Half a
fifth
mina.
wife?
Yeah.
Like,
So
so keep going down.
I guess
as,
women could just keep getting married and then divorced over and over again, and
Oh
they make some money.
man,
That's
you
how
know,
they make a living.
Yeah.
you know Tina. She's just
Women, right?
she's just a shekel digger.
Yeah, shekel digger.
Okay, so there's a
If a man
Let's not play with my mic too much.
there's a knob
Just don't touch it. Just don't
that
touch
you
it.
tighten to hold it wherever you.
Just
Not
don't-
that
No,
one.
oh God.
There's one. There's
Just
one.
don't touch it.
Yeah, let's just not touch it. Let's just
Yeah.
do
Stop
that.
touching it.
I'll fix it later.
If a man
what she
sleeps
said.
with a widow without there being a marriage contract,
Their
Okay.
contracts?
Wait. Sleeps with? Are we talking like just spending the night? Or
Yeah.
are we talking about like repeat offenses? What?
no. Just says a man
Just one.
sleeps with a
One
widow.
time got caught.
Yep, and there's no marriage contract.
Well,
And
if she's a
a-
virgin, you're dead.
She's already a widow. So it's kind of understood that.
Well,
she's,
but evidently in ancient Sumeria, it's not like they consummated the marriage. I mean, because of a married virgin.
Okay, I just didn't want to get depressing, but I can tell you, like the married virgin thing is I would say they were marrying the girls at the age of 5 and 6.
Oh Lord!
And then they wouldn't be consummated till they were of age. That was
Oh,
common.
okay.
That was common in history.
That makes more
Oh,
sense.
dude.
I mean, that's.
I didn't want to say it earlier, but you fucking hung up on it, so now I got to explain it to you.
Oh man, now you just ruined my day.
But they didn't have like relations until
ahead and
she was
look
of
at Kyle.
age.
Okay, so at least that's better.
But she's contractually bound.
She told me to look at him.
I wanted to distract him.
3 shows. That's the limit. 3 shows.
What? This
3
is the third
shows.
show.
I got it.
Yeah. I know. 3. From now
What?
on, just no. 3.
3.
Got
3
it.
shall be.
If you do 4 shows of ignorance of the law,
Not 5.
Russ becomes a little too slap happy. And
No.
she will sacrifice the stones.
Isn't that how we wound up with the burger argument?
Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
Wait till you listen back to this one.
I know, right?
He be banished.
So if a man sleeps with a widow and there's no marriage contract at all, there's no charge. It's a free date for you.
Hell yeah, man.
There's no silver needed.
So why do they even bother putting that on the
Dude.
record?
Did you hear Trina's husband just died? She's on the market, bro. Won't
Hell
cost you
yeah.
anything.
Free.
Free real estate.
What if it's by force?
I don't know. It's kind. I mean, you kind of think it's consensual, but then again, this is.
This
You
could be a
hope it's
loophole.
consensual?
Yeah, probably not.
This could be a big loophole.
If a man is accused of sorcery,
Oh, this one's important.
They're put to death.
nope,
You should be sacrificed upon the stones.
no. It says he must undergo the ordeal by water.
Oh,
What the
What's
hell?
the ordeal by
Waterboarding?
water? Can
Dunking.
anybody explain?
it's not fun.
They gotta tie your legs and throw you in the river or something.
Essentially, they throw you in, and if you sink, ooh, he was innocent. If you
Yeah. If you
float, guilty or
Other way
guilty. So
around.
now no. If you float, if you survive,
Then
You
you're
were a
killed
sorcerer.
because you're a sorcerer.
and so we got to put you to death because you're obviously a sorcerer.
So if he
That survived
weighs
until like almost the 1800s. That was like a.
weighs the same as a duck.
Yes,
It's that scene from
concept.
Monty Python. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, now he's self-conscious saying he's covering his nipples, so I don't have
I
to look
see
at
that. I'll just make sure that I keep a box of Band-Aids in the green room from now on. If anyone needs them, you can just
I'm
tape
just
up.
not going braless ever again. I swear to God.
I'm honestly surprised you haven't had that problem with Chuck.
Kyle, well, he sits in that corner. He used to sit in that corner. So we'll see tomorrow. But here's the thing, man. Don't let them slut shame you. You do you. Bras are just one way of man telling.
I've got large, beautiful nipples, and I'm proud.
Definitely father son. Do you see this? They're
Reese.
both broken. They are both red faced.
I don't blame him because he's a like almost a teenager. Like I get why he's laughing at the mention of nipples, but his dad's the same way, and he's like 40.
That's why I said they are definitely father son.
Like when I was his age, if somebody said nipples, I might be laughing too.
I think he's about to
But
cry.
when you were my age, you weren't laughing?
No.
He's just crying.
A
Look at
nose
this.
snort is the most you can get out of
I'm
me.
sorry,
at
I was
nipples.
just thinking it looked like Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs?
He's crying. They're
Your
laughing
nipples
so
look
hard.
like Tic Tacs.
Look at this. Both of them are crying, Jason.
What is your problem?
Both of them are crying. I think Jason's crying a little bit too, but not from laughter.
The minty Tic Tacs are like the orange ones.
You know, the orange are far superior.
Yeah, but which one are my nipples, Russ?
Well, the only one I really can see is your right nipple.
I appreciate you looking at my nipples, but I also don't.
Look, your eyes are up here.
Do you know how often people look at my nipples? I hope never. I think this is the first time anyone's ever looked at my nipples.
You know, when I
Or
used to
just
work with you, all
acknowledge
those
it vocally.
Don't tell me about weird work stuff.
when I used to work with you, all those times I went in the back room, I was just
You
coming
don't
to see
wanna
your
hear that.
nipples. You know what? There's excuses.
I
to
did
see
that
your
too
nipples.
early.
Gonna send an email. I'm sending an email to HR.
And he's gone. Full out.
All right.
Jason, help me!
I'm in my happy place.
Are you really? Are you thinking about orange Tic Tacs?
Bathtub full of orange Tic Tacs. I just jump in like Scrooge McDuck.
You hear that, Kyle? He's swimming in
Through your
orange Tic
nipples.
Tacs.
Play the DuckTales theme.
Where were we at? What were we doing?
We just finished
We were talking
the
about
widow.
widows.
Widows, yes.
If a slave escapes from the city limits and someone returns him,
They get 15 shekels?
They get 2 shekels for returning the slave.
But only in
What a
certain
good deal.
states because
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
recyclables.
sure, you get 2 shekels, but you're also known as a dick for the rest of your life.
Who pays you the 2 shekels? Like the owner or
I think the owner
Probably
has
the
to.
owner,
government.
Yeah, the owner has to.
Then the owner's all the time running this scam. Like, no, I set him free. I mean, I'll keep him since you brought him back, but I'd set him free. I don't owe you nothing.
Let's see here. If a man knocks out the eye of another man.
His eye shall be knocked out upon the stones.
Nope.
He shall be put to death.
His
Nope.
eyes shall be taken.
Nope.
He just owes him money? That's too reasonable.
Half a mina, 30 shekels.
For an eye?
For an eyeball, yeah.
That's it?
It's not enough.
30 shekels.
Wow.
Depth perception is a thing, gentlemen.
If a man has cut
Hang
off
on,
another man's foot.
my insurance policy specifies if I lose an eye, I get like $350,000.
Yeah.
That's not comparable.
Wait. Does it specify how you have to lose an eye?
It has to be accidental. It can't be, I need the money.
Can you slip?
I mean, if you can make it look like an accident, I guess, but I'm not going to lose an eye for that much money. It's not worth it.
You want to go shooting?
No, not with you.
Don't
if
worry.
a man
we'll
has
just
cut
look
off
at your
another
nipples.
man's foot.
Only the foot.
Wait.
A man has
What-
cut off
was-
another man's foot.
Was this a common
Yeah, that's
thing
what I was going
where
to say. Why is
people
this
cut
on
off
the
people's
books?
foot?
I don't know.
A lot of tilling accidents. Oh, I didn't see your foot there, George.
Well, all those guys with one eye, they have no depth perception when they're chopping wood.
Valid. There wasn't any wood.
Yeah. How much you think a foot's worth? More or less than an eyeball?
I think a foot's worth more than an eyeball.
Less.
I'd say more.
Less, significantly
What?
less. 10
Are you
shekels.
kidding me?
So a third of an eyeball is a
You
foot.
can walk without an eye. You can barely walk without a foot.
Maybe
I
it
can't
has
walk
to
with
do-
2 feet.
I don't know. I was going to say
I get
maybe it has to do-
$500,000 if I lose a foot or a hand.
Well,
Actually,
Really?
Yeah.
This has to be an accident.
Yeah,
Which hand do you want to lose?
neither.
Oh, okay.
maybe,
There's a reason why they give you $500,000.
Maybe losing an eyeball.
What if
back-
I find it again?
Listen, maybe
3
losing
shows.
an eyeball
3
4,000
shows.
years ago was more likely to get infected and kill you than a foot or something
Oh,
like
you know
that.
what? That's probably
possible.
right.
That's a good point.
Something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because eyeball's really close to your brain.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here.
let me guess. Next one's a hand.
I feel like a lot of people
Smashed limb.
Smashed limb,
Yeah, you smash somebody else's limb.
but you don't have to cut it off.
Just says smashed.
I'm gonna say less than the foot.
I'm guessing that means broke
I'm guessing.
I'll say less.
because
yeah,
you couldn't really set it, so it's gonna be messed up the
Mangled.
rest of your life.
I'm going
More
to
than
say
a foot.
probably less than a foot.
More than a foot.
It says 1 mina, which 1 mina
60
is how
shekels.
much?
60 shekels.
Yep.
Which means I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than a foot.
Wow.
Yeah, so a limb is pretty important.
Wow. They like their trees.
I guess they probably count everything shoulder down as your limb. So if they mess up your
Yeah.
hand, it's the same
Yeah.
as if they break your arm because then you can't
Stop.
use your.
They kind of
Smash
figure
your
you're
hand.
probably useless if you've got a limb that's screwed
I
up.
used 60
So,
shekels.
Yeah.
let's see here. A tooth. A man knocks out a tooth of another man.
Then his tooth shall be knocked out upon the stones.
Just 2 shekels.
Just
two
two.
shekels.
You weren't even
That's
allowed
too
to
much.
2 shekels.
Yeah,
That's
I was
too
thinking
much.
more like 1 or
Some
something.
people pull those out with pliers.
Yeah. That's too much. Tooths aren't worth that much.
Okay. Side note. I've been watching Parks and Rec.
Okay. When Ron pulls his own tooth.
his tooth out, all I could
Yeah.
think of was your dad.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought when I saw it.
That
too.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Kyle. His nipples.
Let's see here. If a man's slave woman comparing herself to her mistress speaks insolently to her, so that's the slave woman
Talk shit to the
talking
woman of
shit
the
to
house.
the woman master. What's the punishment?
Bitch, you ugly.
Cut
Death.
the tongue
Yeah,
out.
tongue removal. I'm going tongue removal on this too. It's a
Bubba.
slave.
Death.
Her mouth shall be scoured with a quart of salt. I don't know what that means.
Wait. Yeah, what does that mean?
Scoured means scrubbed.
That
That
sounds
means
painful.
Scrubbed,
Scrub
like
with salt?
like viciously scrubbed. Like
So what?
scouring a pan is
Do
like
you-
with Brillo.
But do you think that is the origin of washing your mouth out with soap?
Probably.
I mean, that's all they had back
That's
then.
a
They
hell of
didn't
a
have
long
soap.
time for that to persist, but wow.
I mean, it
Nice.
sounds right. I don't
Yeah.
know. It could be wrong. It could be a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. I'm
I'll
going
go-
with it. From now
I'll
on,
go
I'm
for it.
telling people that.
I will scour your mouth with a quart of soap
If
or
a,
salt.
if a man appears as a witness but is shown to be a perjurer,
False witness?
Do what?
That could be death.
Do they get
I
salt
think it
as
might
well?
be death.
I'm going to say salt
Very,
as well.
very important not to lie to the court system.
They lose a
I'm
tooth.
going death. He shall be sacrificed upon the stones.
15 shekels.
Oh, is that
That's
it?
it? Seriously, really?
Yeah, 15 shekels, which was the same as what? Same as
It sounds to me like if you had a couple hundred mina, then you could get away
if
with
you
anything.
were a rich guy, you could hurt a lot of people. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if I'm on trial for something, I could pay someone 30 shekels to lie for me, and then just also give him the money to,
Yeah.
to lie. And I'd be good.
Yep.
I don't think they had conspiracy charges back in those days. No recall laws. So
I don't know. They might have.
I like this one. If a man stealthily cultivates the field of another man, and this is not like figurative, this is literal.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, this is literal. They didn't have figurative speech.
Want to
back
make sure he didn't cuckoo
Yeah,
birdie.
He's not cultivating his wife. He's just cultivating the field. He's growing some pumpkins on his neighbor's pumpkin.
He owes him the value of the crop.
property. Yeah.
He
And it
owes
becomes him the property.
He owes him nothing, and the owner will lose his expenses. I think that's hilarious.
Really?
It's like, you dumbass, you didn't even notice me over here using your land.
So if I sneak over onto your property,
Well,
you're on Pikey Mountain, and till your garden.
We pretty much have that now. If you put up a fence that's not on the line and it's over on my property, after so many years, it becomes your property
Yes.
because I didn't do anything about
It's
it.
like common law type crap.
Yeah, that's probably where that come from. It's like if you're not plowing your fields and he is, they're his fields now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also interesting because the idea of a tithe, like a 10% tithe,
Yeah.
is what the church expects.
Yeah.
That actually goes back to the Hebrews, where they believed that 10% of every farmer's field should be reserved for the poor. And so, when a farmer would actually grow their big field and have all their crop, they would actually leave 10% of it there
In the field for the poor to come pick.
Yeah, for the poor to come get it. It's yours. And so
Yeah.
that's where the idea of the tithe comes from. And so it kind of makes me think of that. Like, if
That
you have this
maybe,
extra
yeah.
property and people are coming and using it, well, maybe they need it, that kind of a thing.
Well, if you're not using it,
Right?
It's true.
I mean, I don't know. The Hebrews were weird in some of their laws. They would also have a debt forgiveness randomly. Like, everybody who owes anybody money, you don't owe it anymore.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Can we have that?
Bank of America hated them.
That's it. That's all the laws.
What?
Yeah.
Did you have any more?
That was a
guesses?
whole tablet they found, and that's all the ones that were legible on the tablet.
I feel like there was more than that.
There
That's just
probably
the
were
ones
more.
that-
Well, yeah, those are just the
Hammurabi,
legible.
Hammurabi's was like 400. I did not want to go through all those.
Yeah, no, there's a lot.
We should go through some of them at some point. That would
Yeah,
be
maybe
fun.
we could go through the juicy ones. I've read through some of them and they weren't very juicy. They were more boring than these. But yeah, so these were from the year 2300, 2100 BC. So
Wow. Some of those sounded kind of progressive, and some of them were fairly barbaric.
well, I think for the time it was pretty good.
First civilization.
Code of
The
Hammurabi. Hammurabi's got some of the ones that are eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And I
Yeah,
think
they're
that,
kind of violent.
yeah, having a monetary system is pretty progressive. Even if it's not perfect, it's pretty progressive.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think also, how many mentions of slaves in there? I feel like
Yeah.
we're talking about 10% of the population these laws were subject to. Everyone else was a slave.
Wouldn't this
Right.
be older than those English laws because it's not religious?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
These just aren't
This was
currently
2100 BC. These are 4,000
Yeah,
years
those
ago.
ones we went through previously, those were still in effect.
Yeah. There's no Sumeria right now.
No,
It's become the Middle East.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
where
Iraq.
exactly was it Iraq?
Yeah, it was in between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers.
Yeah.
It was in that river valley.
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, that's Mesopotamia become Samaria, which become Babylon, which become Constantinople, which become Istanbul.
But Istanbul is Constantinople.
No, because
you'll
long
have to
time
ask
gone,
the Turks.
Constantinople.
I guess they just liked it better that way.
But even old New York.
It was once New Amsterdam.
Why'd they change it?
We've all heard they might be giants, gentlemen.
We have?
Yes, we all have.
Are you sure?
Well,
I guarantee you everybody in this room's heard that song.
What if they aren't giants?
But they might be.
Yeah, but they might be.
What if they aren't?
They might be.
TMBG, they might be giants.
Mm-hmm. Particle Man. Doing everything a
That
particle
part,
can.
Yeah, we should probably shut this down.
Yes, we should.
Yeah, you think we should?
Shut it down.
Is that the general consensus? What Kyle's nipples think? All nipples point to yes.
We get a yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. We love having you here. We love that you listen to us for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we do love that you listen to us. So thank you. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell your friends. Did I say friends twice?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I did. I'm trying to stretch this out like I usually do, but Jason really doesn't seem to care that I'm doing it because he's playing with his phone. So.
Oh, I checked out this show 20 minutes ago.
Jason.
I think he was scared by the nipple talk.
I think it was more
It's
about
the
his
Tic Tacs.
hysterical losing of the shit of the nipples.
I'm sorry, it was hilarious.
Like, it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
But
he
then
thought
it
it was
was
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's it. It was just you
Yeah,
two.
yeah. You reached the end of the list.
25 shekels for both of you. End of the episode.
Find out the exchange rate. We'll talk about it. All right, folks. Find us on EldoradoStudio.net, not .com. Jason, where can we find you on Twitter and Facebook and all the other places?
Afterlodge Jason.
Afterlodge Jason.
Mm-hmm.
You still don't have Venmo? You didn't set that up
Nope.
during the episode?
Did not set that up during
No
the episode.
Snapchat?
Oh,
what you did.
JW Run is Snapchat.
All right. Send him some special pics if you want to of Kyle's nipples. Anyway, thanks for joining us.
That's creepy. How are they going to get pictures of Kyle's nipples? Off our Twitch stream?
They might.
Just going to get pictures of their television?
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. We got Twitch stream, folks. Twitch.tv/Eldorado Studio. Jump on there. Hit subscribe. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next episode.